Have them like run off their list of things.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. All right. Hello. Type in a comment if you can hear us, because for whatever reason, our little visual thing is not showing up right now. Hold on. Of course. Oh, lordy. All right. Okay, good. Maguma can hear us. So,
okay.
At the very least, we can be heard. We can speak like real human beings, and we will not reveal behind the scenes discussions.
Yes.
Absolutely not. What if I go here? And, what the heck is going on here? All right, hold on. It's because I have this in a different... Okay. Why is this not showing? Okay, hold on. Properties. I mean, I guess as long as they can hear, as long as people can hear us, we're good.
It's fine.
Yes, it is fine. It's just two of us right now, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So, hello.
We have 8 matches to go over, so yeah, this is fine.
8 matches in a survey, and we're gonna start with that dang survey. Just get it right the heck out of the way. Call it good. Technical issues abound. This is hilarious. Yeah. But yeah. Anyway. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this month's KWCC. I am your host, KaijuX, and with me today is my trusty, handy, dandy GBR. And today, September, well, the reason we didn't do one in August was twofold. One, YouTube was being crappy. Really, really crappy. So there was just, nothing, we couldn't record that day, and even for that month, just been busy and tired, so I blame work. Real life work is to blame for everything. As well as me just overworking myself in general. So
Mr. 50 matches.
Yeah. Squirrel! Anyway. But yeah, so that was probably been, for the most part, like, stuff we should.
My job is co-coordinator. What's my title again?
Co-operations manager.
Yeah, 90% of my job is just like grabbing you by the shoulders and shaking you to make sure you stay on track.
Pretty much. That's why you're here. Pretty much. Oh yeah, I forgot we had a survey, says Maguma. Yeah, no, don't worry. I hope everyone forgot. So that way we can reveal everything. Oh, lordy. So, I think with that, we'll go over the survey stuff first, because I feel like that's probably going to be, like, important to address. And, obviously, given the fact that, yeah, I think we kind of, kind of need to go over that. Kind of big important part. What literally should have been last month's thing. Oh, excuse me. So, in the meantime, I'm going to show the first page of the survey results. And the question that was asked is, well, okay, obviously there is question, like, we're going to go over the responses first, and then we'll go over sort of like some of the written questions. So we'll be starting from question 2. Question 2 is, who do you want to see the most? And this was out of the Shin Ultraman monsters that had been made available around the time that this was put up. And it seems like for the most part, Naranga kind of takes lead. I think this makes sense to me just because it's like there's a Naranga relative to everyone else was given the most exposure before the movie's release. And even after the movie's release, we literally get like the first 10 minutes, which prominently feature Naranga. I feel like that's not much of a spoiler because it's literally the first thing to happen after that opening montage.
Yeah, and Naranga of what we have is like the one that I think people are going to know the most.
Yeah. So I'm sure the others will probably get more of their time to shine. Maybe as the movie becomes more available, which I believe was a thing that happened recently. Something about
Yeah, someone got the rights to distribute it on DVD or to be sold by the exchange.
Okay. Yeah. So those are massive W's, and thank goodness for that. So I feel bad for Zara, but at the same time, I feel like he wasn't. I feel like he's been the least appreciated. At least Gabor looks cool, and Mephiles is understandable, and of course, this gearing to a more what I imagine is a Godzilla-centric audience. The indifference is just whatever.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then there's a question. And then question 3 concerns interested in adding Shin Ultraman the character to the KWC. Most of you said yes. So solid amount said no, but it's it's okay. We'll see what we're gonna do about that one.
We aren't sure.
Right. We're obviously we're just gonna have to see the movie. Play it safe.
Yeah, we're still working off information secondhand.
Right. Secondhand information right now, and I think that's a little crazy. That's the secondhand information. So, but yeah, it's we're gonna think on it. We're gonna think on it, and then we just need to see the movie to be sure.
Yeah.
Hello, Joshua Strip Matter. I see you in chat. So yep, going all right. Finally in a KWCC mood. Got a lot to cover though, which includes the survey. Speaking of survey, part 2. This is the question 4. Out of this list, who would you like to see most? And this was all the monsters that we had made publicly available, or that are public. All these guys are getting in. It's just a matter of what, in a way.
Who do we prioritize?
Yeah, who do we prioritize out of the bunch? We can't guarantee all of these are going to come in this order or anything, but this is just a projected estimate based on what everyone's voted on.
Yeah.
So we pretty much have Anguirus, SP Anguirus and GM Gigador are really neck and neck, and it's kind of insane that that was insane. That whole thing was just a neck and neck competition between those two. It's a good draw for a good while, but but yeah, it's holy crap.
It's almost like one is from one of the most highly regarded Godzilla movies of them all, and the other is what is from the newest Godzilla product and is an incarnation of pretty much the 6th of the big 5.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. So, and he's a good boy and a lad, and it's got cool powers. So, oh Lord. But below those two, though, we got Rayquaza coming in a solid 3rd, 2nd, whatever you want to call it.
Rayquaza sweep.
So it's we definitely got a very vocal, at least a vocal demand for this particular one right here.
It's almost like Pokemon is epic.
Hell yeah. And then below that is Ultraman Taro, because obviously people like their Ultramans. And
Ultra Sweep.
Yes, true, tried Ultra Sweep.
Shin Ultraman, first movie to make $1 trillion.
Yeah. Oh, Lordy. Then a couple of the next few are a little on the closer side, like Jaguar from SP, the Evangelion Unit 1, Salonga, and Tiamat, all pretty close together. And then we got the Gotengo under that. Super X, Sachiel, Zerul, Unit 0 and Unit 2. I can only imagine, at least Unit 0 and Unit 2, I think makes sense to be that low. Because I'm also imagining either A, people are envisioning all three will be in at the same time, or maybe much like Rayquaza in past polls, it's just we're going to dump all our eggs into Unit 1, try and make that the priority one out of the three.
Yeah, well, because one is the face of the franchise, and it's probably like a lot of people are. I think it's like you said, a lot of people probably just figure that. Well, the other two are going to probably be in the same match.
Yeah. So,
which is pretty likely.
Yeah, more than likely. So, if you have a submission with Unit 1, and it's good, send it yonder way. You know how it goes. JW Comics, surprised that SP Angear's topped all the guys in there. I would have imagined Taro to be in the top 3, but that is a no. He's like top 4, so he's still pretty high.
Yeah.
Strip Matter also anticipates writing a to write a match that lives up to his namesake.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
Maybe, I don't know.
Potentially. Maybe.
I've been told it's a good match.
All right.
Which I have submitted. Godzilla vs. Rayquaza.
Which Godzilla? Shh.
I mean, I think they know.
All right.
I posted the trailer for it, and I think we all know my favorite Godzilla.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, so yeah, that's just a list of all time. Now the other list of all time. From this designated list, are there any you would like to see as part of the KWC? We got Ella King, we got Daimajin, Udako. Yeah, Ella King sweep. This is a holy crap. I think this is like, jeez Louise. That Ella King sweep, man, that was the most unexpected thing.
Yeah, I will mention, like, with these polls, with the surveys, this doesn't determine like what we do fully. The way I see these surveys is like pretty much we take the opinions of all y'all and we treat it as like another staff member.
Yeah, the collective 11th staff member.
Yeah, because the way these things generally go is like staff will just like discuss this in our own time and like sort of pull together an opinion. So like we treat this as another opinion.
Yeah. One which we can either choose to listen or ignore if we feel like it's like, because for the most part, you're like, ultimate rule of thumb is that you're not going to make everyone happy. That's an impossibility. That's just not going to happen.
Now how the components of this list are going to be, now how, whether or not the things on this list will get into the roster or not, that's for you to find out at a later point.
Yeah. So. But speaking of which, there is at least one.
We do pay attention to your opinions.
Yeah.
They aren't end all be all, but they do matter.
Right. They do like kind of make us either think or rethink on things that may have been a hard no from us before. Sometimes. That's the key word, sometimes. But we do hear. And fortunately for us, one of our writers Harley had written a Gore Magala match, and seeing Gore Magala this high up told us, "Oh hey, let's push it out sooner."
Yes.
So
because we had Gore Magala like in the chamber for a while.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, I think like, yeah. So it's like, yeah, we got Gore Magala out. And there was a very solid amount of votes that went into it. So, yay!
Because slight peek behind the curtain, we do have like a list of monsters that are technically on the roster, but we aren't telling you about.
Right, because you'll enjoy it.
Surprises are fun.
Yes, you shall. You will wonder what kind of black magic we conjure up. I don't know. You just have to ask Nago to that one.
And we assure you that most of them are things you will know.
Yeah. for sure.
Some aren't. Some you guys will just be like, "What? Who?"
Aerobot? What?
No. Thought I wish. Justice for Gunhead.
So, but yeah,
Didn't Gunhead and Aerobot get like no votes?
Oh gosh, I think in the previous one, like Gunhead was like super. Oh, where is it? Oh, that might be the next one. Oh yeah, no, Gunhead's pretty low. Like, it's better. Gunhead did better than you would expect, but Aerobot is just like. It's like,
Pain.
If this were the manga version, I think people would have liked it. But yeah, very good. What's we call it though? But yeah, I like not too much else to go.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah, moving over. The next one is. Within this list, are there any monsters you would like to see separated? And there's a very major, like a very big vocal amount of you that wish to see Showa and Millennium separated, which I can kind of get. I think that, or at least out of everyone,
I disagree heavily, but
I know you disagree heavily, Mister. But I'd still like to account that like while I do get that, it's like Millennium Gaigen's in that position where we just treated him like Showa for a long time, and therefore Showa, Showa was still rooted in some kind of holy drop, Batman. Very good. No, it was still rooted in something publication, whereas Kamakuras was arguably much more of a compromise. That one was much more of a harder compromise. But it's still kind of like I could still see that it's like even though there is a percentage that voted, it's not like super vocal. But yeah, Gaigen and Muto both make sense to me personally, but it's also kind of like I could understand how we can keep them that way. And I think out of all, like, I'm still sitting on Showa Gaigen, separating the Gaigens right now. Really? I get it.
Hey, great shot.
Oh,
greetings.
Hello there. Going over the results. So it's like I might have my mind made up later this year, especially after the drop of GVG. So I'm still sitting on this one, but there is probably 50% chance I might follow through with it, 50% chance I might not, whereas the rest I'm ultimately going to keep them as they are. So if you're looking for any separations, there's a high the highest one that I'll probably do this with is Gaigen, but even if I do,
it's still up in the air.
It's still up in the air right now. So nothing surefire, nothing guaranteed.
Oh, for the consolidation or keeping them separate?
Separate, yeah. This is separation, so.
I mean, you do have Gaigen Max, apparently. Or what, Gaigen Rex?
Yeah.
Right. Like that's one that came up to my mind. I'm like, I may not, depending on how things play out on that side. No guarantees on anything yet. That's why I'd much rather, like, see what kind of stuff happens between now and then. And just see, like, if there's any kind of interest in whatever. So, we'll see. Gonna go over to the next portion, which is, with the list provided, are there any monsters you would like to see hybridized? These are ones that are in the roster already, and we're wondering, like, how many people would like to see them mixed together. And it seems like, really, with the exception of Anguirus, everyone else seems to have done relatively well, actually. I mean, obviously, there was a good amount for Ultraman earlier. Or, like, I guess the hybridization of Ultraman would be a decent way to get shit in. It would probably be our personal pick. But again, we still have to see the movie for itself and to see if that's okay. Because all we have right now is still just secondhand information at the moment. Then there's Baragon, which is, like, probably a way to get Showa back in, I'd imagine. And then there's, Millennium Showa, which, as a character, does make sense. those two are practically the same character for all intents and purposes. And I feel like, I don't even just mean in terms of continuity, even just the general behaviors and the stuff unique to them are just practically identical.
Yeah. I think we pretty much agreed that, like, we can pretty much do the hybridization without even doing it.
Right. It was like, yeah, if you just want to treat Millennium as Showa, there's like no issue with that. Because it's like, that's just pretty much reinvented Showa.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we realize, like, that's not even an issue.
Because part of the issue with the hybridization that I think we found out about, like, after we posted up the survey, was that Anthony doesn't actually like hybridization.
Right. He'll still give us rights to do it, so there will still...
But he doesn't like it.
Right. He's not an advocator for it. Either he's not an advocator for it at all or not anymore. I'm not sure what the story is there, but it's like, he would much rather have several, and I can understand, that's why I'm like semi-advocating for the separation of Showa and Millennium Gaigan, is because it's like, yes, they may have very similar kind of basic personalities, and Millennium pretty much took Showa's place for a long time. But it is still like, they are two different Gaigans with two different sets of powers and two different sets of origins. I think that could still make for an interesting clash between those two. But again, that one I'm thinking.
At least when it comes to the hybridization, the Gaigans made the most sense, especially keeping in mind the context of Rulers of Earth when it came out at that time. When we had, Showa Gaigan get upgraded, and it was like, oh, hey, this is the canonical version of this is an upgrade
like an official publication Toho gave a pass on, is the way to
exactly.
Look at it.
Yeah, and that's why I'm personally against the separation, but that's not here or there.
Right. So, and again, who knows? Maybe something will happen. Maybe Gaigan Rex will do something cool. I don't know. We'll see.
The KDC tries to keep sort of like a flexible ideal as we move towards the future.
But otherwise, I do agree with you on the Mothra. The Mothra one of the list made the most sense, mainly because it is literally the same character in the film from the original. So
right,
yeah,
for sure. But it's like, strip matter. Right. So combining the spiders makes sense. I mean, they are practically the same thing. They just split their web differently. So if they are combined, they could just do tricks with the spider, just do tricks with this, with the spider. And Komoga should either be hybridized or replaced with Millennium, thanks to Rulers. Which, I think the only issue we have with Millennium is more so resource based, because like stuff we get for it's just easier to get stuff with Showa than Millennium. But I think there's some stuff for Millennium, but I still feel like I don't know, Komoga out of all of these was the one I personally wanted to go for, just because it was like, I wanted to make, Mothra has plenty of utility in of herself, but Komoga, I think, could use that little bit of extra expansion with, the different webbing methods and whatnot. I don't know. I don't know. Gonna hop over to the next section, which is... which KWC title card theme would you like to see in the near future? Obviously, we just inserted 2 of them, pretty recently, with both Fantasy and Showa. It seems like a good portion of people went for the other 2, but it seems like people really want to see... obviously, not all of this is finalized. We are definitely changing things around, mixing things up. And, sometimes, something new will appear or something will change, and just our thought processes will change, and we'll just be like, oh, yeah, it's so it's really it's just a matter of, what's available, and just everything else. But we did get the Fantasy and Showa banners completed. They are up on the main site right now. But it's this, again, we just look at this as a collective opinion, and just try and see, it's okay, what comes next? Or what can we focus on next?
Well, also I will also say from the other side of the perspective, while, each theme might differentiate between like the monsters, like, whoa, this monster can work in two themes. We're kind of finalizing, or at least in regards to the finalization on which side is which. It also comes down to the artist, because if we can find like an artist that we think would work super well with one theme versus the other, and they're available 6 months in advance, and that's the one the community voted on, it's like, we probably want to wait for that person that best represents those monsters, if we can find like that correlation.
Yeah. So, yeah, something like that. So, yeah, not like nothing too crazy to say. It's just here it is, and it's gone now, and here's another one. Okay. Do you read matches with combatants you are unfamiliar with? And we got a decent sort of a selection of votes, combined with, depends on who they're fighting, is kind of like the top one. I would argue, yeah, the top two are like the very much neck and neck, very similar position of like, oh yes, these are the ones we are most, like, yeah, it's always either a combination of yes always, which in that case, thank you very much, or it depends on who they're fighting, which makes sense. If two unknowns start fighting each other, probably not going to be a big draw, but if you get a familiar face in there, that does make sense. You want to get, like, okay, I know this guy's tough. All right, how's this guy fare? Or how's this guy represented, I think is the more important way to phrase it.
Yeah. So what you're saying is we need to have Monster vs. Godzilla fight all of the secret editions.
Yes, absolutely. And we make all the money on the back end. A nice solid amount. Also go for most of the time with a very, very small collective, small percentage. Maybe no more than like 10% is just sort of like, whatever. That's just much more like either like rarely, depends on first impression, and never. It seems for the most part our audience is very open, very much open-minded when it comes to what we have. For the most part, it just depends if we got the right set of circumstances to capture attention. So
yeah, the banner is also a major contributor. A good match with a bad banner can also attract less audience than others. That's definitely has happened in the past. And even though while we do have a steady amount of viewership for most monsters, you can definitely say that the monsters that have the popularity, like Monsterverse, or those based off like something hot, like recently, like a series or something, those are gonna get get a bit of a jump or whatnot. I think it was your Kong match from last year was a good example of that, being like, Godzilla versus Kong had just come out, Kong was hot, and your Kong versus what's the dragon?
Greater Rathalos and
Rathalos, yes. I want to say Ragnarok. Rathalos did very well.
Right.
I think it was the top one of the like top matches of the year in regards to viewership.
That I could see. That I could very much see. Just because it was like, yeah, I know. You got the hot Monsterverse Kong, and then you get Rathalos on top of that from a very popular video game series. So it's like, yeah. So, but yeah, let's see. Then we're on the last bit. At least out of the poll stuff is like, would you be interested in seeing retired monsters come back to KaijuX multimedia? This is going to be more or less my personal sort of take with the multimedia, or like with the one to open up the floodgates when it comes to multimedia, because I feel like if we keep that section open-ended, it will be less confusing for those that wish to use them. And especially if the author or the creator in question has the resources to pull it off, I am willing to give a hand to whoever and help get more stuff for the multimedia. That I am like super really open on, much. And plus, I think for the main KWC, it allows the main KWC to present it, be very nicely presented while also retaining the retirement element. It's like, yes, they are technically going to be retired, just because it's like, because it was like, it would be confusing to be like, oh yes, this monster is hard retired, but then it's like someone comes along with the match, and it's like, I don't like, do I just say no to that? or because the KWC multimedia so infrequently gets content, it's like, should I really say no to that? This is kind of my answer of allowing the multimedia to be the exception while also kind of keeping some elements of the retirement system in place. Plus, I also think that multimedia exclusivity may also help with, like, okay, if you really insist on making a match with this particular monster, you can give them a multimedia match, because more than likely, if they are retired into the multimedia exclusive zone, well, cool, you'll actually be contributing to a section that really needs it. So it's like, that's the way I'm personally going to go about it. So that way, every space could still have its use, and monsters could still be dusted off, while also still allowing, like, maybe potentially shrinking, like, slowly shrinking the list to make sure things, like, get into circulation when it comes to the stuff that's written, in my opinion. So that's just kind of the way it's just my personal, take of that. That's just gonna be my take of it. Very much a whole lot of people agree with it, because it's like, I'm sure they probably also view monsters as like the other incarnations as separate things. And while I do think that like retirement in of itself is not strictly a bad thing, I think there will have to come a time where it's like, we're gonna have to put some stuff away, but allowing them to be open in KWC multimedia does allow them to come back in a new format. And yeah. So yeah, this is just my personal answer to that. So that way we could just still have still have our fun on the ride again. So
yeah, and anything that'll attract if anyone wants to use a monster for the multimedia, because yeah, we haven't had anyone. We've had like a few contributions, but they've been from select persons. So if this opens up a gate for someone to do it, by all means, I think that's a smart choice.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to make use of all the parts that we have and make sure they work together. And well, at this point, it's just literally a matter of waiting to see if seeing if everything just falls into place or not. So there are also 3 more questions I want to go over when it comes to the survey. One, and it'll just be real quick. So I don't have any visual aid for this one, so I'm afraid the visual aid will have to go. Rest in peace. One is, how do you feel about Shin Ultraman reps? We had a lot of comments, but for the most part, to keep it simple, it is a very positive. People are down for it. Ultraman, I think, is very hot on the brain right now. So it's like, yeah, I think we ultimately still say people are ultimately down for Shin Ultraman monsters. Just it's just a matter of how soon can we get them in. All right. How do you feel about a chapter system in the KWC? There was definitely like a lot of kind of like mixed reception when it came to this one. It seemed like it was still like positive or indifferent. I think were kind of the 2 big ones. And for the most part, people seem to lean to the idea that it's like, okay, a KWC has to be this long, this big, or 17 minutes per chapter. I don't know how you translate that. But yeah, it's like, I think ultimately, like, something GBR had said, and that we have ultimately come to the conclusion of, is as long as your KWC submission is rightfully, like, obviously uses its chapters meaningfully, it should be up to the author of how they wish to present it. If you wish to present it as a chapter-based thing, we can absolutely make sure to work behind the scenes to, like, bring that to life. If not, then you're more than free to just send it as a regular submission. You do not need to force it as like a chapter thing. This is strictly for like one like a singular KWC submission. Though it's like, I'm sure it could carry over to a series thing where each match has its own chapters, but because there are definitely those that would need it. That's for sure.
Yeah, I would say that in regards to the chapter system, the main note would be the matches that are excessively long. I'm thinking anything like probably over 20,000 words or so, like breaking them up. I could see like a chapter system less on a chapter, more like a, opening, middle, conclusion kind of like, or like climax kind of thing,
Yeah.
pretty much splitting it up into 3 parts. You could, that way people understand. Okay, I got through the build up. Now it's through the second act, and then into the third act.
Right.
Because if you have like a 5,000 word match and you're asking us 10 chapters, please, it's like
no, you do not need. You do not need 10 chapters for 5,000 words. Gosh, no. But it's like, yeah, kind of like. But again, I think a lot of it should be subjective to the reader for the most part. And the last of these questions concerning the survey before we jump into our KWC says, how do you feel about Garuda in the KWC? I think this was another one that was sort of like, it's still kind of like looking at the comments right now. It's just like, there definitely seems to be much stronger mixed reaction to this one. And even the ones that were open to it, I think are still ultimately more or less okay with there definitely seems to be like some kind of like mixed response there. But let me put it this way, we have already, after we collected the comments, we've already went to Anthony, asked him about it. It will ultimately be staying the same. So nothing's going to change in regards to Heisei Mechagodzilla. Ultimately, the reason being is that, having it be Heisei Mechagodzilla aided by Garuda allows for more story-related flexibility. It just allows for Mechagodzilla to go to and fro from super kind of on a whim to whatever the story. So it's not really much we could do about that, and it's it does make the most sense in terms of match structure or story structure, what have you, to keep it that way. So I'm afraid for any Garuda stance, this means he will probably not be a separate character in the KWC. It will remain as basically an attachment to Mechagodzilla, basically.
Yeah, I think that's for the best, because I get the idea of wanting to have Garuda be its own thing, but Garuda is not as varied as the Super X's or the Gotengo.
Mm-hmm.
It just has 2 big laser guns and that's it.
And plasma needles. Anyway,
that's not enough.
But yeah.
Yeah, also, unlike the Super X2 or the other Super X's, the Garuda was, in its own movie, was outclassed because it was the prototype to Mechagodzilla. Okay, we'll make this, and it was oh, this isn't effective. Now we get Mechagodzilla, so having Garuda be in itself also a representation of Mechagodzilla is... yeah, I can understand why people would be like, God, Garuda lost, Mechagodzilla lost +1. It's what, why?
Right. So, yeah, I think Garuda's just one of those people that's let's just keep it open. That ultimately the way it is now keeps it open-ended in the story. But hooray, that means we've finally... Oh Lord. But yeah, alright. Yeah, I was just skimming over the comments real quick, but I think that we can handle over to, with the survey for the most part covered really, really quick. Obviously oversimplified. Again, thank you very much for...
We got a lot to cover today.
yeah, we got a lot to cover right now. So, we got, so we're going to start nice and strong with the last match of Shin Month. Match 380, Godzilla Reiwa versus King Ghidorah Legendary versus Mothra Millennium versus Rodan Heisei versus Violante. Oh, holy crap. Oh, Lord. But yeah. I think that this is a very solid match. It did, on the editing bay, take a bit to clean up. There was definitely...
Yes.
Oh boy. All right. I would say this is more GVR story when it comes to the editing bay. Holy shit. I still say it's a good match. But I think it was both... There was a shit ton of, from what I had seen over and what GVR was mostly able to clean up on, was name repetition out the wazoo and just thick, giant paragraphs. I'm like, what is this?
It was just walls.
Just literal, actual walls.
Who wrote this one again?
Titano.
Titano goes to Christian Salibert. So, yeah.
That's why I was so surprised.
It's like, what is this? Is this real?
Paragraphs would have Godzilla's name like 10 times.
It was. Yeah, no, the editing day for this one was crazy, but I do like the overall match, and the overall story of the match has like a lot of like a lot of fun things going for it, especially if you're just looking for the nice like something that's much more grounded in monster fighting. This one definitely serves up the goods. Holy. Yeah, this match was a lot fresher in my mind last month. Not so much this month. It's been a little bit. But friggin', no, and this match, I will say this much on the behind the scenes front. We had this match planned for a while, but once the whole Shin Godzilla thing went down, I did ask Titano, who was writing this match at the time, I was like, hey, you can do this now. Have fun. And he was able to kind of like incorporate some of those features in there. We had discussion on what was okay and what wasn't, or it's like what was I was allowed to like what he was allowed to get away with and whatnot. And obviously we just came to ultimately just came to that conclusion. It was like, here's this, here's that, and all's done, ends done, and just. I'd probably say, there's definitely some really fun stuff in here, but, I would definitely say, obviously there's the Thing homage version 2. But friggin', whatchamacallit, though? Definitely. The ending, I'll also admit, was a little unexpected. I was like, oh, okay. I wasn't expecting the match to end that way, but it was also kind of like, okay, that's kind of new, cool. I dig it. But yeah, it's like I think I still like this match fine. It was just a pain in the butt to clean up and edit. Which, GDR, what'd you think of it?
I do want to start off by saying I think this is a good match, but just it took a lot of editing. Just because there was no editing where it was I needed to rewrite big things. It was just cleaning up a lot of name repetition.
Yeah.
Yeah, because for those unaware, name repetition is one of the most common issues that crop up in matches.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
People just using the names way too often.
Right. Way too often, or way too often in short spaces, either short or long spaces of time.
Yeah. Recommendation would be to have maybe 3 or 4 names at least for your monster. So something like Destroyer, right? You could have Precambrian Terror, Death-Seeking Horror, Abomination, just other names, because if you just see Destroyer.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the Match 39 HD and suffering inside. Because that one was woof. Jeez Louise. But yeah.
Yes. But no, I still think this is overall a good match. It's very fun. It uses Shin's adaptation a lot. And in fun ways. I think this is a good comeback for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Another thing that I needed to deal with in the editing, and I'm just saying this to make it clear to everyone who wants to write a Shin match with all the new crazy stuff with him. The one thing I will emphasize above all others, Shin cannot adapt on purpose.
Yes. Yeah, I think that was another part, because there were definitely parts that suggested that I was like, oh, he's doing it
in the original version of this, he literally split his tail into 5 by himself, on his
purpose, deliberate.
Yeah.
Which was not the case, because Shin, even though we do have set things Shin can do, it's still not deliberate. It still has to be in response to something.
Yes. But no, overall good match. The banner's excellent.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah. No, I like the match. It's just like I just can't think about it without thinking about all the editing.
All the work that had to go into cleaning it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, but I suffered. But yeah, I know this banner, like Christian had recommended to me, like based on a certain image. Gosh darn, I forgot to get. It's that one painted artwork with like Shin shooting the atomic ray in the ground. There's like Ghidorah.
Oh, also Bacon like send me his thoughts on 380 when you get done.
Okay. Yeah, and then it's like, you got Ghidorah in the background, Mothra on one side, Rodan the other, and then there's like Biolance's like, vines everywhere. I think people probably know what I'm talking about, but yeah, I think like that one was used as something of a reference point. And while I wasn't able to quite like fully like mimic that one, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna kind of take in spirit and go in my own direction with it, and came up with this. So I was like, it's a lot of apocalypses and red fire and all that fun stuff. So yeah, and I figured that the like the atomic rays out of the back were just a fun little dividers to give some kind of separation between all the monsters for the most part. So yeah, that was that was fun to make, and after a couple of inputs, here we are. And Gray Shot, what'd you think of it?
I'll be honest, I haven't read the match, but the banner looks great.
All right, thank you.
Gotta have that representation here.
Gosh darn it, of all people.
Yeah, Bacon's thoughts on 380 were, oh boy, I did not like this one that much. The action is fine, but it gets hard to read with poor grammar at times. The banner is sick, though.
I was gonna say this match came in because this was requested by Titano. So this was after I departed. So this was for my hiatus. So how long before did you guys get this match?
It was like weeks. Like I had asked him writing it before you dropped, and then I told him about the stuff after you dropped. So it was kind of like he was still working on it while you were in charge.
Yeah, I just didn't think it was.
We got the match like during Shin Month.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense.
That's part of why I'm talking about like the editing so much, because it was like I had to be doing it like the week before.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, my big thing is like when it comes to those deadline matches, like usually when you ask someone, "Oh yeah, can you do this?" Planning out way well in advance is for the best, or going from the matches we have, because yeah, you get situations like that where it's like someone says, "Oh yeah, I got this match," and then like you have a short amount of time to edit it, or the person rushes and it's not their usual quality. Usually Titano gives some good stuff.
Right.
Titano's a great writer. I think rushing did probably like harm this a bit.
Right. Or at least during the initial phase. But thankfully we were on top of it. We were pretty much on top game, and thank gosh. So, but yeah, okay, we got Bacon's thoughts. Was there anything else we want to say in regards to 380? Or
Kaiju Fan Forever and Nagoda gave their thoughts in the chat.
Okay, right. Okay, let me read those. Kaiju Fan Forever says, this was a fun match. I enjoyed the air fight. Oh boy, I'll look forward to using Shin's new abilities, and I really like the ending. Not sure what else to type. Right, not working 100%. You're good, man. You're good.
That means you're on this server.
Yeah. Nagoda says, love the banner and love how each monster is separated by atomic rays and how one goes right in between one Ghidorah's heads. Thank you. I know that was Alex's recommendation. You know what? Works a lot better for it. As for the match itself, the fight could drag on a bit and some parts get a little hard to read. Oh, rip. Joe!
I don't think her mic is not working.
Oh, okay. Damn. Right. I hear GVR seething, she says. All right. Yeah, I'm reading the comments from the stream right now. The obligatory giant monsters all out attack was sorely missing from that title. That is true. Make it even longer. That would have been great.
No.
Anyway, fun match. Great introduction to Shinzu power set. And Strip Matter says, this match is definitely up there for top 10 of this year. It's basically the rule that Shin cannot physically adapt instinctively, instead be treated as more of a panic-driven, instinctual response to a bad situation. Which, yeah, I think that's about right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like KaijuX wrote up that whole like giant list of what Shin can do.
Yeah, you can find.
So it's pretty much just like, as long as you can justify Shin adapting that way, it's fine.
Yeah.
The issue is just like it has to be accidental.
Right, for the most part. So I know that could get tricky with something like how can Shin fly if it's not on purpose or whatnot, but you know, there are
use your heads.
Use your heads. Use your imagination. That's what it's there for.
That's what KWC is all about, is working within limitations.
Right. You stumble along like Kamada-kun, and then you start standing up like Shinagawa. There you go. An Uvergil is a type of it's like a Archaeopteryx. That's what an Uvergil is. It's the German name for it.
Bird.
Yes, dino bird. So I do have like a visual reference in the FAQ in the post I had mentioned. So you can just always look at that. So yeah, I think we kind of covered a lot of our base when it came to 380. So, but yeah, I think with that said, we'll migrate over from 380 to 381. Christock versus KaijuX Caesar. Written by Kenneth James and banner from Tyler Treeshock. And I mean, like, this one's a fundamental, like, after the big, like, crazy highs of Shin Godzilla, this one was actually really nice to get back to, because it was just so, like, it wasn't like a big all-out brawl like 380, or the big story-driven, like, 379. We got something that's nice, simple, super concise, and overall just an all-round fun time. Like, even if a bit basic, but acceptably basic. Yeah, so like, it was nice to see something from Kenneth James again, especially after it's like, I feel like he hasn't written anything in a while. And granted, I'm not trying to say this is new. I think this one was kind of on the older side, if I remember right.
Have we gotten like any info on Kenneth James in a while? Like, yeah, he's pretty much like an older writer that we have.
Yeah. I don't think so. At least I haven't heard. Gray Shot. What about like?
Oh no, this was an older match. The reason why this hadn't been posted in a while because we didn't have a name associated. This was one of the first ones I got from Titano back in the day, but we never had a name to it. So I always was like asking around, being like, okay, who has this? And Kenneth James hasn't been online. So we kind of were like, we were 90% sure, asking around, looking at his other matches. I mean, you guys been doing the yeah, you guys were like, this is like 90% sure. So if this turns out to be someone else, we're sorry for the misidentification.
Okay.
But yeah, this one was.
This is the match we always had just as Alan Smithy.
Yeah, Alan Smithy for a while. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like it seems like his style writing, just at least comparing this to his other work. So it's like I probably imagine this to be the case. I did change some things around because he treated King Caesar as an organic creature, and I was like, I wasn't sure about that. It's like, I understand the GFW version has like the more mammalionized. I kind of get that, but it's like, too confident he still had like the red eyes and whatnot. I was like, changing that. But beyond that though, beyond that though, it's like, I think the match itself is an alright fun. It is nice to see sort of like the Godzilla Unleashed landscape used a little more. What's unfortunate too is that the banner doesn't reflect that, but it's a beautiful looking banner. Like, I love the sun peeking out through the buildings. I love the way Crystalak is sort of hovering over the people that should be drowning. And then just, King Caesar is admittedly on the harder to see side. It took me a bit to notice that he was even there. But beyond that, though, it was kind of like I love the banner. Yeah, I really love the banner. It's just not necessarily accurate since this is the flooded Tokyo from Godzilla Unleashed. But beyond that, though, it's like it is a very visually and striking banner. It just doesn't necessarily reflect the contents that are actually within the match, unfortunately. But oh well.
Yeah, for this one, for the banner wise, the Godzilla Unleashed, like the style I wanted is I liked having a bit of color and having that like paint look. And the Godzilla Unleashed backgrounds just weren't working. And I also originally had like tried messing with crystals, then kind of fell away. Mainly focusing on finding the best destroyed Tokyo landscape I could find, and then kind of naturally putting the monsters in. Okay. So you get this is an uplifted, less crystallized version or sector of it.
All right. Could have just stuck one behind King Caesar or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I also wanted to like kind of reflect each monster with like Crystalak focusing in on the humans while King Caesar's rushing in to save them, with like more of a protector kind of feel.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I agree. King Caesar is a little too. I should have brightened him up just a smidge in the background, maybe. But yeah, otherwise, good match and good banner. At least at least on my end, because I did read this one.
GVR, what'd you think of it?
We'll talk about the banner first. I think it's good. Looks very beautiful. There's the issue of just like King Caesar being kind of hard to see. Because like you almost think he's in the Colosseum in the back.
Right.
Yeah. As for the match itself, fine. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's like a very simple match. I don't really have anything to really say.
Mm-hmm.
Lately, I will admit, it's been kind of like difficult for me to read KWCs.
All right.
I think just like a bit burned out.
Oof.
No, I can still edit them just fine. But I think just like the new ones that go up on the site, it's sort of like I still have read all of the ones we're doing today.
Right. So, but yeah.
Overall a fine match. I just don't really have anything to say.
All right, that's fair. It is hard to really give like major props to the match for anything of note. It's just bam.
It's more accurate to say I've been having a hard time reading like the very simple matches.
Yeah. Because it's like there's nothing to absorb. It's just monsters fight, and then that's it.
Yeah, this again. I when I say good, I do mean it's like a fine KWC. But yeah, there's nothing. I don't think anyone's going to remember this match T-minus 1 year, right? It's going to be one of the this was a cool entry, But you can't always get the 380s.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure. And to be fair, I don't think you always should. I think, obviously you're going to need to mix it up with sort of the lesser tier stuff to make sure that the better tier stuff comes out better.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with these kinds of matches. I'm just saying, like, me personally, I just,
Yep.
That's just me. I'm me.
Yep. You're you. I'm me. Gray shot's gray shot. And, let me see.
Yeah, and that's why the KWC is such a mess.
Yes.
Because I'm me, you're you, Gray Shot's Gray Shot, Titano was Titano,
yes.
Tom was Tom.
Yes.
And now here we are, somehow 385 matches in, barely put together.
That's the secret, you're always barely put together.
Why do you people read this? No, I'm kidding.
Nugoto says, banner of this one looks nice, even King Caesar blends it a bit into the background with the paint filter. Fight itself is good, fun melee fight, and I like how King Caesar basically Ryder kicked Chris Black in the heart, causing him to explode. Kaiju Fan Forever says, nice simple fight, beautiful banner, though I thought King Caesar was inside the glowing building. Whatever made you think that? Jeez. Anyway. So, and then from the comment side, Maguma says, I think the match is fine. The first time Millennium King Caesar has been seen in a banner in a good year or two. Is that so? I like the colors of it. The match itself is short and sweet, though I thought the finisher was odd. Which, guess I could see that. Is this really the first time we've had like a King Caesar and a banner and like? Yeah, that's Showa. Yeah, that's Showa. Oh gosh, yeah, 300 T Showa.
One of the whole reasons we hybridized the two was just because it was easier to find Showa images.
Right, honestly, it was resource based, yeah.
Yeah. The main reason I used Millennium is because he had a good one if you're charging forward. Yeah, the running sequence.
Oh wow, we have not had a Millennium King Caesar banner since 191.
Yeah, and I guarantee around that time is when we hybridized him.
Somewhere around there, yeah. Holy.
Because Showa was easier to find, and like, if given the chance, I think the vast majority of people are going to use Showa.
Yeah, right. Like for resources, it's like because strictly adhering to Millennium specifically at the long.
Oh yeah, I'm also saying like writers.
Oh yeah, and writers too. It's like we already wrote Millennium as Showa anyway, so it was like the only thing I could think of that was different for Showa, or the difference between Showa is just like that spinning, the friggin' scissor kick, and that's about it. It was like.
Yeah, you can just have Showa do that. We already have monsters do things they don't do in the movies.
Right, exactly. So it's just like, yeah. So. It's not often a monster beats another monster through the power of heartbreak. But with that said, I think it would be migrating on, speeding up, off from 181 to not 181, 381 to 382.
It's 181. We are way past that point, my dude.
Yeah, we are. We
are almost in match 400.
Oh, lordy. But yeah, for match, 381 to 382, Iris versus Grand King Ghidorah. New author from Justin N. and banner from Matthew Williams. And I really enjoyed this match. I think it's like, it doesn't necessarily have a super strong, like, everything that you need to know is still told, but I think the character, everyone here still has a good, strong sense of characterization that I find enjoyable. Is like, oh, okay. Even if it's like, more told than shown, it's still like has a nice, strong character grip to it. And likewise, too, I think the actual battle between Iris and Grand King Ghidorah is a lot of fun. It's just, the only thing that was just a little over the top, or just a little much, was the point where Grand King Ghidorah grabs Ayana with his tail. It was like, originally I think it was like much more, oh boy, yeah, no, it's like I did like, just clean that up a little bit, but it was still kind of, that seems a little weird for this 150 meter thing grabbing this tiny girl by the tail, but all right.
Yeah, I think they were probably thinking like grand actual cannon size as opposed to what we've made him.
Right. Or depending on when this was written. Though I thought this was like 2020 submission, so.
No, this was written like, this was submitted before. Yeah, pretty sure it was submitted after
the upscaling, after the 190 upscaling. So like, oh. But yeah, so it's like, and the banner, I really like the banner. I think the only real criticism I might have is just that it's a little overly snowy, but I also think that's all right. It's like, sure, when you look at it at a glance, or maybe it's not even the snow. It could be Iris is just a little too blurred, I would say. But at the same time, though, it's like you do kind of like, I don't know. I just think it's fine. So So it's like I don't think I have like as much of an issue with it. It's like I've heard from a couple others in staff, but at the same time though, I do think it's fine. I do think it's solid. So
I think Iris, the flying, actually it works fine because from his position he should be blurred because of the snow and everything.
The snow, flying, yeah.
Yeah, the King Ghidorah, I think the lightning probably has the most to do with it because it is just so like everything is like dark and out of place, and the lightning just kind of contrasts that too greatly, I think. Yeah, because I don't know why. I think Iris of the two monsters looks better in the banner.
Yeah.
But I think maybe just adding like a little bit of a coloring or something for the snow or accounting for that in some way might have helped King Ghidorah a bit. And Iris, but I think Iris naturally, just because the model used, blends with it naturally better because it's a older like sprite, and not sprite model, but like older 3D model.
Yeah.
So yeah, banner okay. The or like good. I agree. The match itself is kind of a whiplash of sorts. It kind of jumps back between the focuses, which I'm never a fan of. When it regards to matches, if you have like a third person omnidirectional, that's good. Like, or third person omnipotent, which is like describing the situation, that's fine. But in this case, it's like going between like Iris's perspective, Ghidorah, and like then it just drops Iana at the end, like the whole reason of the match, which I felt was like. I think this match would have benefited maybe from like 1,000 more words, just to like space everything out a little bit. Maybe give Iana that closure, because like it starts out and you're thinking, oh, this is gonna have some kind of like
extra character. Oof.
Yeah, but it never really comes to fruition.
Okay.
Yeah, those were like what I do remember about this match is that I actually verified this one because like I was filling in for Alex for a week. Because he was taking a break, and I ended up going over this one, and like I liked it. I approved it, but I did have the feeling of like this is a bit too short.
Right. It's like it definitely could have used more. Easily could have used more like a dialogue, a conversation between Iris and Iana before Grand King Ghidorah arrives.
It's still a very solid match in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. I like
the character stuff. I like the fight.
Right. So it's like it's still like on point. I feel it's just maybe a little too short considering what it like has kind of going for it. Definitely could have been longer, but it's fine as it is. But it definitely could have been like improved upon with like an extra 1,000 words.
I'm assuming this was the writer's like first submission to us, so like great job from that perspective.
Yeah, it's a good first impression, but it's still like you could definitely do more with it. Which, given the amount of time that's passed, it's like, I can see that. Here, what the eat paint bottom text? I don't.
I don't know why I felt like deep frying in the banner.
Okay. Yagoda says the banner looks nice, if a bit messy. Snow effect is good, looking like good looking, and I like the slight blur on Iris. I don't quite remember his wing membranes glowing like that, but I could be wrong on that. Grant could use a bit more color corrections. As for the match itself, I do like Iris being used as a force of good, protecting the world through bond with Iana instead of seeking to destroy both heaven and earth by unifying with her. Kaiju Fan Forever says, "Oh, I love this one, mainly because of how kind of good guy Iris. Speaking of Gamera's final foe, he seemed a little fast to me. Not sure he can move as fast as Megagearus, and he's pretty speedy. Not on the ground, but in the air, he has like good mobility, so that's fine. That little nitpick aside, fun fight."
Oh yeah, I remember that too. Iris like speed blitzes Ghidorah like Dragon Ball Z style. I mean, I think that's accurate if you go by like their official stats. Yeah. Because I think Iris can fly like Mach 9.
Yeah.
Well, Ghidorah can only fly like Mach 3, even though Des Ghidorah can fly at Mach 23.
This is why stats do not matter in the world of Toho.
Yeah, because I don't believe Des Ghidorah in atmosphere can fly at hypervelocity.
Right. We'd be looking at a very different KWC if we had to stick to physics. Oh,
Well, I also think it's just mainly how they're implemented, because like when we see Iris, he's tangoing with jets. So you're thinking, okay, the average jet can move around like max speed, assuming like or at least close to that, right?
Yeah.
So if he could have just evaded, he would have just blitzed. He would have went 9 times faster and just went by, right?
Right.
Whereas I think most people think of, when you ask what is the fastest monster ever, most people are like Megaguirus, because he can or she can literally go so fast you can't see her, even though like she's listed Mach 3, Mach 1,
yeah, right.
Mach 4.
Which is a lot slower, but it's a matter of presentation, not the actual number.
Exactly.
The only thing I will be fair in saying with the number thing, though, it's not a matter of it's not a matter of like in-universe justification. I'd argue it's more symbolism, because Iris has the whole theme of 9. Like, pretty much all its stats were like 199 tons, 99 meters, 999 tentacle length, and all that. It was basically sort of like a simple, because it was like the movie was released in 1999. And I think a big paranoia for Japan at the time was sort of like 1999's the year of the apocalypse, I believe. So it is sort of like the 9 symbolism does make sense when applied by that logic. It just doesn't, like, the whole Mach 9 thing doesn't apply to, like, how it's presented in the movie, obviously. But it is sort of like just reiterating that 9, that 9 symbol. So, and that was something I did try to keep for the KWC when we upscaled everyone. We're like, oh, okay, Iris should be this heavy with a lot of 9s, because that's like that. It still adheres to that intent.
Yeah, for more proof of how dumb stats are, Gamera's flight speed is Mach 3.5.
Yeah, he's competing with a Mach 9 Iris. It makes no sense. Anyway, but yeah, reading over the comments now.
Still a great match. Just like has issues, but.
Okay, Naguma says, this was really good. I like the idea of Iris and Ayana becoming anti-heroes if they had survived. Pretty nasty finisher, yo. So this was written way after you guys monster scaled the combat. Not necessarily monsterverse scaled. I would say Heisei if I scaled the combat.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it was patterned after Heisei, not monsterverse. But oh, right, that's what we were talking about, the scaling stuff. I wasn't even on TK before the upscaling, but I remember scrolling through threads and reading how people thought it was weird how Gorosaurus was taller than Legendary Katsu. What? I do not remember that. I do not remember that.
I think it was a bit. I don't know.
Oh, I think that might have been back in the. Oh yeah, that's right. Because I think Gorosaurus was 60 meters and Legendary was 54. If I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like that. Yeah, no, that did not sit right. Okay, yeah, no, back in the old days. Yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah. Also, any match that has Iris in it is good automatically. So.
Only if he wins. I'm kidding.
No.
But yeah. Whatchamacallit though? Was there anyone else that wanted to give additional thoughts to 382 real quick?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, we're good.
Oh, I will just say, yeah, the note of Iris being an anti-hero, I don't think it was implemented as well as it could have been, but as the first attempt, I thought the idea or the concept behind Iris being like good, because even though like some of the source materials does like it was cute to be like evil or something.
Yeah.
In the context of what we just see in the movie, it very much, if Iris was found or like unlocked and it happened to, I don't know, Mr. Rogers and had found it, it could have been, the idea might be, it could have been actually good.
Right.
I've always viewed Iris and Ayana's relationship as just like a feedback loop of revenge.
Yeah.
Like Ayana finds Iris with revenge, and then Iris like feeds on that, and that feeds back into her, and it just ends up spiraling off into.
Right. Like, yeah.
And the stabbing camera.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. It's like, yeah, even though we have discovered supplementary material recently that basically low-key kind of reveals that Iris was always manipulative from the start. Like, even the appearance is just like something dictated that Ayana would keep for the most part. So it's like, yeah, no, this thing was like a complete shapeshifter and just molded its appearance after what Ayana would find adorable. So it's like, yeah, in a weird, like...
That doesn't necessarily mean it's automatically evil. That just means, like, clearly Iris is not perfectly innocent.
Right. Oh, for sure. But it's still kind of like, I'm not trying to say, I'm not trying to say, oh, canon validates. I'm just trying to say that it's like, I think it's fine to be the right Iris as a hero, because I think that's a fun dynamic to take the character, especially if you're just, like, familiar with just watching the movie, you know? I think the movie leaves just enough open-ended to where it's like this kind of scenario would be completely feasible. You know, you don't obviously need to stick to, like, you don't need to stick religiously to the text. It's like, oh, he's always evil, even if like other sources like kind of like seem to enunciate that some. It's still just kind of like, yeah, no, I think something like this, as long as it's justified, I say he's good. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mean Iris can actually fight and he can't just walk around pushing things around slowly on the ground?
Nagoda just faded into Iris right there.
Nagoda was, once again, has PTSD from the FMs.
Damn. Oh, Lordy. Wait, oh, Nagoda, you're here. Then again, I just read your thoughts, didn't I? Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
that's
like,
pretty much all I have to say for this.
all right. Oh, but yeah, pretty good. Yeah, I don't think we have any more for 382, so we'll just quickly move on over to match 383. Gigan, Showa versus Begor. Again, I had discussed earlier that like we might be separating, and this is just one of those small little signs that like might be going that direction. No guarantees yet, though. So even in the event that I do pull back on it, I could just very easily kind of change it back. So
The text will be orange for some reason, but you can change it.
eternally, orange forever. Written by Christopher Salibert and banner by Matthew Freeze.
Yep.
I like this one fine. I think this one was still slightly on the repetitive end, so I did clean that up some, but it wasn't. I didn't feel like it was like as like crazy as like 180. Comparatively speaking, I do think this is still this was still a fine match from Christian Salibert. You get enough like little like it's weird to say human alien related components concerning the controller and the cherubim and their fun stuff. And then, like, yeah, you actually just get the battle with Bagor and Gigan, which I think is ultimately enjoyable. Just had to clean up a few things just because it was like, I'm not sure the blackness of space really has much of an atmosphere. You know what an atmosphere is. But it's like, I think all things considered, though, this is I do enjoy the finisher, though. That was actually a really fun finisher. I was like, oh, I wonder how this is gonna end. Oh, rip. But yeah, friggin' whatchamacallit, though. I think this is an alright match from Christian Salibert and an alright banner from Matthew Freaks. So it's like, I will admit, it's like Christian did send in his own banner, which it's weird to say. I do like more and less in a weird way. Maybe in hindsight, I should have asked Christian, it's like, hey, could you change this up some? But by the time that thought creeped in my mind, GVR already made his, and I was like, oh, okay. But it's like, yeah, I'll show you guys that one in a bit. But yeah, no, I think I'll just see what you guys think of it. But
yeah. The old banner isn't like the issue with the old banner is just how like pixelated it is.
Well, I mean, I think part like wait, if it was just pixelation, oh, never mind. We'll let the viewers
Well, like
it's
it's really pixelated, and like the Gigan looks weird. So does Bagora because of like color correction and lack of it.
Well, I would argue that that Geigen looked okay, but we'll show you guys that in a bit. Show you guys that in a second. I gotta understand that the quality of the image Titano used was clearly not adjusted to be to blend in with the original image. It was like not an effort was made to make the background more crisp or to make the monsters more blurry. But yeah, no, we'll show you guys that in a bit after we go through the actual match. So, but yeah, I guess like what you think of the who's read the actual match? Speak your heart out.
I read it. I liked it.
Okay.
It was a good match.
All right.
The good like aerial battle. Those are always fun, especially when they can communicate a good sense of speed.
Mm-hmm. Aerial space battle.
Yeah, I would agree. I think I like the idea of the invasion process being like an invasion, like prep is underway, and then something just comes out of nowhere. I like that idea in regards to the implementation here. My favorite part is probably just the alien element, and they're bickering back and forth. I think Titano does the really likes that kind of stuff and does it really well.
He does.
But the actual fight I thought was solid. I didn't think anything. I'll be honest. I can't think of anything off the top. Like I can't remember like an exact sequence. I remember liking it, and I guess it kind of went one ear without the other. When I first saw the banner, I'm just like, oh yeah, this had the chairman and like all the aliens like discussing the invasion, and it just gets thrown for a loop. Like that's what I think the main takeaway for this match is going to be. It's that unique premise. I think is what people are going to remember. As for the banner, it's not bad. It's good, solid. I'm kind of curious to see what the other banner was.
Right. Yeah. No. And I think let's see. What do we have here with the YouTube update? Okay. Cool. I was about to say YouTube update in midstream. What are you talking about? But yeah. Okay. Sweet. It's back. Good.
Yeah, I found the banner. I can post it in the general chat.
Oh
yeah, the stock UFOs.
Yeah, I think that all this really needed was I think you just need to put a filter over Bagora to make him look Showa-esque. And I think this would have been fine. It just kind of feels like he tried to do Black Moth versus Maguma, and it didn't quite come out. I think if you would have just put that filter over... If you put that filter over the UFOs, put that filter over Bagora, and maybe you just change Geigen to make him a little less bright. I think this would have been. I think that's going to turn out great. But yeah, those changes just weren't.
Right. The imagery was definitely there, and it was like because I do like the fact that it's actually using Planet X, like the actual backdrop of Planet X. And I think that part was fine. I think just the big one that I know Geigen definitely would have it was a perfect shot for Geigen. It was just it definitely needed to be darkened, and then Bagora just needed the extra effort to be like actually blend in with that environment, like extra filters and whatnot. And same with the other new assets as well.
Honestly, I would just see. I'd be curious if he would be still interested in just making those changes, and then we can just turn this into a GIF banner.
Yeah, probably. I think that big. Wouldn't hurt to try.
Yeah.
I mean, I just have to remember to do it. That's all.
Yeah. Because with my banner that I made, that's obviously not Planet X. I just went on to Pexels, which is this free picture website, found images of rocky plains, went in there in Photoshop, colored them blue, made them dark, and then slapped a Jupiter PNG in the background.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of hard to get images of Planet X that aren't blurry.
Well, I mean, that's why you just sharpen it. Just sharpen it. Get good. Or blur the monsters. Plot twist.
Well, because also it's kind of hard to just like find a good image of Planet X anyway.
Well, yeah. No, I get you. Like being 1-to-1. Yeah, no, I got you.
Yeah, that's why I generally just like for Planet X banners, I just do what I described.
Yep. I mean, that's what a lot of banners do, so it's acceptable.
Yeah, I mean, how many Monster Island banners do you think actually are using images of Monster Island?
All of them, clearly.
No.
But yeah.
Also, don't zoom in on Gigan's I-beam too much. It might be a bit crooked.
Quick, zoom in on it. Quick.
I'm still kind of a novice in Photoshop, I'll admit it. Like for that I-beam, I just got like the paintbrush in red and just like whipped it across the screen real quick. Try to keep it as straight as possible.
You do know
And applied all the
the
effects.
lines, right?
There are
In
lines.
theory.
In theory, he says. But yeah, very good. But wait, dude, wait, who hasn't gone here? I think GVR went. I think
Yeah.
Gray shot.
He went.
Oh, okay, he did.
Yeah.
Nagoto.
Okay, so banner is a bit dark. Stand that the base is really dark. The new version of the banner can use a bit more color correction on like the rocky plains to make it look better. Because right now it looks like it's just snowy. The old banner, if Gigan could have been a bit darker, maybe put like a TV filter over a fedora and it would have been fine. As for the fight itself, it's good. The alien parts were pretty nice. And oh yeah, Gigan going to meet the Jupiter ghost is pretty fun too.
Oh, stop bringing up Bye Bye Jupiter.
Oh gosh.
Stop cursing the lands.
But it's right there in the banner.
And we're saying hello to it right now. Alright. Okay. Maguba says, Bangor is in it, therefore is automatically awesome. Like, it was enjoyable, and I like how Gigan got sucked into Jupiter. And then Strip Matter says, poor Gigan is gonna get stuck down there in Jupiter's far gases for centuries. He's not gonna be a good move when he finally gets out of there.
Oh, right. That's how it. Okay.
Yeah, that's how it
Right.
is.
Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say. I was trying to remember. Like, what? How did it? Oh, right. Jupiter.
So, and then Kaiju Fan Forever says, nice to see another Showa Gigan match and another match for Begora. Poor Gigan getting chucked into the red spot. Tough break. Shame he couldn't teleport like in the games. Wouldn't that be a neat plot twist? Dun dun dun. Sorry, that's currently not available.
Yeah, otherwise we have to give Varon and Titanosaurus beams, and that's just like...
I mean, not that we have to, but...
No, you give one monster Pipeworks powers, you gotta give them all their Pipeworks powers.
Yeah. I will say though, Titanosaurus getting the. I like their. What he got a supersonic ray,
Yeah.
and they were like, and they didn't realize. Oh, he's weak to it.
Yeah.
I think it's very easy to kind of like, oh, he has a supersonic ray. That's counterintuitive. But I think the reality could be more like, I think logic.
Might be Jiger. Might be like Jiger.
Right. It's like, I'm thinking more along the lines of like the supersonic frequency he shoots out is attuned to himself, but anything else that interferes with that screws him over. That's the way I see it.
That's what I meant when I said Jiger.
Oh.
Because that was Jiger's whole thing, is that like they had like radio waves and like could fire them out and in the form of the beam, but so like any other radio waves mess with them.
Yeah, something like that.
I've been marathoning the Gamera series recently. The Showa series is a very mixed bag, but Heisei is Pog.
Yes.
I mean, oh god, yeah. No, Showa is the. show us a descent to a dumpster fire, whereas then use that dumpster fire to launch into orbit with the Heisei.
Pretty much.
Some of the Showa Gamer movies are good, but like even the good ones are still like low tier Godzilla.
And then there along comes the Heisei series, which is arguably even better than Godzilla.
If Showa Gamera's best is like in like the bottom 10 Godzilla movies in terms of quality, like the Heisei stuff is all in like top 10, top 5.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I'll be honest. I showed them to my girlfriend first because like they are legit just blockbusters with kaiju. Like.
That's a very smart idea.
Yeah, it was a case of because it's the easiest transition. That or you go from Godzilla 1998, which is a bad blockbuster, into like the good blockbusters.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. I mean, thankfully, I guess we got 2014 for that now, but I get your point.
Yeah, which I gotta say, to getting someone into the fan, I showcased. It was actually. It was for dinners. We choose like movies for like watching if I ever go to like her parents' place. And it's I recently they'd never seen Godzilla 2014, Kong, or King of the Monsters. Or King of the Monsters. And I showed them all and they were like, oh, these are actually really good. And I was like, and I realized I'm like, you know, we're actually kind of lucky because if you had to like, I don't know, try to get someone to be a fan of another franchise, like I don't know, DC or something, it's like, ooh, you're in for a rough patch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, don't talk about the DCEU, please. It hurts every time.
GBR speaking as a DC fan.
Yes. I like DC more than Marvel, but their cinematic universes are night and day in terms of good and bad.
Right. That is the funny thing. I would say I grew up with more of a DC bias. I prefer Marvel's cinematic universe, but in terms of like the greater like everything else, I think I kind of lean more into DC, just a little bit. But it's still kind of like in terms of cinematic universes, yeah, no, DC's a bit of a hot mess.
I mean, we all grew up with Batman the Animated Series, Justice League, like that was all on like the main cartoon stations, right? Marvel didn't have anything like that.
Yeah.
Even DC had like the movies and stuff, like the animated films were all good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And now it's like, well, okay, listen, DC kind of is definitely still winning animated, but everywhere else they are just Marvel into oblivion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right.
Unlike the MonsterVerse, which is, you know, most of it's, you know, all of it's at least good, right? That's the thing I will say for most of the movies. There are good or great aspects to all of them.
Yes.
I would actually argue that the Japanese side is more 50-50, but that's an argument to a mountain to die on for another time.
Gosh darn Americans. But yeah, do we have anything else to say in regards to 383? Are we all good to go?
Did you read Kaiju Van Forever's thing?
Oh, not bad. Oh, yes, I did.
Okay, then yeah, I think we can move on to 384.
All right, sweet. Yeah, shifting over to match 384, which you as the viewer totally did not see for a second. Yeah, Gorosaurus versus Ghidorah, also known as Orange. I mean, written by Landon Soto and banner from Matthew Williams. And first off, I'll say the banner looks actually, we had talked about earlier how the 383 Christian Salazar banner could have been better with a more Showa feel. This feels like it accomplished that. Like a very, like, you got, like, I think because both monsters use their original suits, only with a little bit of like digital touch-ups, it's still like they both feel very natural together, and the biting down of Gorosaurus onto Ghidorah's tentacle feels like natural. Like,
yeah.
It all feels like, it feels like what 383's Christian banner was trying to do. But I think I would argue to greater success just because of the resources it used. But yeah, with that said, I enjoyed the banner. Clearly, it was also enough to get Anthony Romero to step down. It's like, yo, banner hot. And I really enjoyed the match. I enjoyed sort of like it's nice, simple. It's a nice, simple match that has a nice comedic ending, which I didn't see coming. But it's also like Landon Soto. I think he's He's pretty good with this, like, more. He's good at giving the little comedy matches, and I think his writing style works well for that. And likewise too, it's just I think he does a good job with it. Only just minor cleanup here and there, but yeah.
Yeah, no, this banner is top tier. Like I was actually at a wedding when this dropped, and or at least I'd gone to a wedding like on the weekend this hit, and yeah, no, this was I did a double take because I was like, I was like shocked at the banner because I was like, that looks so good because yeah, the Showa suits are used, like the effects are good. Like this is easily of the bunch, maybe even of the year, one of my favorite banners, easily.
Hey.
Yeah. I second that in regards to Anthony because yeah, it's always good, you know, when you have like a different style. But this is right up there with that Black Moth and Maguma kind of feel, where it's like this could have literally been taken out of a movie. And like, obviously, there's a few touches like the blood that's like okay, but you know, honestly, if you told me this was from a movie, it would be hard to like. You could make a good argument for it, right? I have yet to read it, so Landon, I have not read it, but I'll probably get around to it sooner rather than later. It's a shorter match.
Yeah. Nice simple read.
Relatively speaking. Yeah, but overall, at least banner wise, it is a 9, if not a 10 out of 10.
So, GBR. I'll assume that's GBR go.
I'm still here.
Yes. Okay, gotcha.
I was just being quiet.
All right, gotcha.
Banner is excellent.
Uh-oh.
What?
Seems like we have a... Uh-oh, okay. Hold on. Can you guys hear us? Respond to chat if you can. Did you hear all that? Did you guys hear all that?
We have a technical issue.
Just for a little bit. There was a slight slowdown in terms of recording. I don't know if that was just me going back to the tab or what. Please chat, respond if you guys heard everything we said in regards to 3D4. I see some like Goro Orange Saurus versus Giz Orange. So I think we at least got something. We good? We good? Okay, awesome. Heard all of it. Okay, thank gosh. Ugh. I heard someone talking. Thank you, Maguma. Okay, sweet. Okay, at least it was all caught. Thank goodness. Okay, all right. Continue. My bad.
The banner's excellent. I agree with everyone there. The match is fine. It's just a very quick and simple match. Good tooth and claw. Nothing else to really talk about. There's a second Gazora, that's fun.
Yeah, sort of.
I'm surprised Gorosaurus didn't get turned into a Yogg puppet. But, yeah.
Alright.
Nothing to really say.
Alright. I feel like Greyshot low-key kind of gave his thoughts on it already. Like, covered all his bases. Nagoto, what'd you think of it?
The match is simple and the fight's okay. Banner, I really like the banner though. Like the just generic blood actually goes blue with the, like how like some animals do, and plus the whole you can kind of see the Yogg leaking out of the wound onto Gorosaurus as well. I also like the figures used for Gorosaurus. Anyone else?
Kaiju Fan Forever's typing right now. Okay. Yeah. Just Goro Orange Saurus versus Gizorange. And yeah. That seems to be the most we got out of this one. Okay. Alright, shit matter. Okay, can you hear us right now? Because I think you might be having a hard time picking up Nagoda there for a second. So. Let's see. Kaiju Fan Forever type something up real quick, and apologies for any kind of silence on our end. We're just kind of waiting on him. Oh, I see something in regards to Gorosaurus, the legendary atomic dinosaur.
Okay, so for some context, while editing a different Gorosaurus match Joe wrote for the KWCE, I got mad at him because of like how often he used the title atomic dinosaur.
Right? Oh, Lord. Just because it was like, that's like one of his like noted subtitles is like Marvelous Atomic Dinosaur. There was
but I hate it.
there was a lot more of that I removed, but I kept the last one just as a, like, I figured that was the tip of the hat reference, and I figured it's like, okay, I was still gonna give that the benefit of the doubt, keeping that there, but it was just the one. The rest, there was just kind of cleaned up to be less atomic dinosaur and more everything else. So it's like, because that would have been a little weird, but I figured it's like anyone who knows atomic, referring to Gorosaurus as the marvelous atomic dinosaur would get the, cheeky reference. I don't mind that. Don't mind it to a point. Gorosaurus, it's like, I feel like all of the 60s dinosaurs may have, like, this is just an assumption on my part. Do not take it as fact. I'm just saying the attitude at the time may have just been big dinosaurs because big radiation, I feel.
Yeah.
Because even like Anguirus is like, don't get me wrong, I know Anguirus is officially sort of still tied with the bomb to a degree, even though he's clearly very deviated from that since then, like in the later Showa films. But still kind of like, yeah, I know, like Anguirus, the Showa Anguirus we know is still technically an atomic creature, so I'm sure that was just attitude of the time, which ultimately like doesn't necessarily translate into their modern characterization, but I don't think it's wholly wrong. At least I hope not. Otherwise, otherwise I'm dead.
Yeah, also Kaiju Fan Forever said that nice simple melee fight, mini appearing gave me vibes of a cartoon where someone's getting pummeled and the people watching are wincing in pain.
Yeah. Got started. But yeah, very good. Yeah, there was that, and yeah, I think. Do we have anything else to say in regards to 3D4? I think we're kind of like on the okay front with that. I think we're good.
Yeah.
So, all right, and then holy moly, I can't believe we're actually here. This feels weird to actually be like oh yeah, Goro Orange Source, the legendary orange peel. Right, orange, because I am red-green colorblind. I cannot necessarily see orange, and likewise Photoshop can be, it's either my mouse, Photoshop, or both, that, like, even though I try to make sure the slider's all the way on red, sometimes, I don't know if I'm, like, holding on for, a split second too long or something, it turns orange. I'm like, oh, whatever. Sometimes orange looks nice. Oh, Lord. But, speaking of orange, 385, that's the transition. The most recent KWC match as of this recording, 385, Gormagala versus Varon versus Behemoth, written by Harley Jameson and the banner from me. Again. I have to put this on my DeviantART. But yeah, oh man, this is a really fun and enjoyable match. I think because I know for a fact that like the Flooded Forest is a Monster Hunter thing, I do believe.
Yes.
Okay, good. Resident Monster Hunter expert here. But yeah, like this is like setting that environment. Oh, hello, Harley. The author's actually here for her match.
Oh.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey. All right. You literally just got here for 385. Your match.
Yeah, I know. That's what I told GV. That's what I told GV to do.
Okay, you cheeky sucker.
I'm like, listen. I woke up like 10 minutes ago, and I'm like, hey, listen. If y'all actually talk about my match, let me know when I can hop on.
Okay, gotcha. No, that's fair. That's fair. All right, but all right, yeah. Gore Magala vs. Braun vs. Behemoth, written by Harley Jameson and banner by B. Yeah, with that said, I really enjoyed this match. This was a super fun, like, kind of a, like battle, like, between, like, Varan and Behemoth both being infected and both of them kind of trying to tag down on Gorbagala. But at the same time, also kind of, like, it's a nice, fun three-way. And I think it's a really good debut of Gorbagala, the powers and the effects the Frenzy Virus can have on monsters. It's like, yeah, this is, like just a really fun... Oh my gosh, I feel like the fun part of it too. Oh man, like I mean, obviously, yeah, no, this was just an all around really enjoyable battle and just a different sort of yeah, no, it's the effects of the Frenzy Virus has pronounced effects on monsters, and it's going to be really fun to kind of bring that into the greater KWC with everyone else. And just, yeah, no, this was just a really fun sort of yeah, no, I just had a lot of fun reading this. It's like, you definitely get from the get-go that's like, oh, what the heck is a Kaiju? What the heck is a Gajo? What the heck is a friggin' Giatotus?
Gerardus.
Sorry, Monster Hunter pronunciation is not my strong suit.
We noticed.
Don't you mean Gerardiotis, according to that misspelling right there?
Oh yeah, I did. There's a couple. People said there was a couple misspellings here or there, but it's not too big of a deal.
Right. I thought I got them all, but you know how it goes. They're just those little ones.
I don't listen. The Gerardiotis was literally included just so we could fucking die. I don't really care how I spell it.
Right.
Its entire existence is die.
But yeah, friggin' yeah, no, it's just like, yeah, it's also just fun to have whereas the first Monster Hunter related match was set in the Monster Hunter world, and I assume Bacon's is also just Skull Island here with more Attack on Titan. I think this is actually our first proper match set in the Monster Hunter world, or something much more greatly connected to it. And just the actual kaiju are just natural fits.
Yeah, this is something where I'm explicitly not using a location that was not seen in the movie.
Yeah, for sure, which is more than fine by me. Hell yeah. So.
Yeah, I took great pains to show how much the Frenzy Virus is affecting Varan and then later Behemoth.
Mm-hmm. Right. Once Harley had told me the premise, it's oh yeah, Varan and Behemoth both get infected by the Frenzy Virus, and it's the effects of it can because I think they're different. They're basically different patterns for different monsters, and some of them are more extreme than others.
It depends.
Depends on the monster. It's very open ended. So it's
it depends on whether or not you want them to go Apex or not. Because to me the thing is if they're not going Apex, then if they survive the fight, either they're just gonna die almost immediately, or the Yoda's gonna send a squad after them.
Yeah.
But an Apex monster is they're still infected and in a lot of pain, but an Apex monster is able to basically keep living. They've overcome the lethal effects of the virus.
Right. They just have to basically it's suffering forever, but without actually dying.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, but it's like, yeah, once you had like a purple Varan in there, I was basically like, let's go. I knew from the outset I wanted to make an NES Varan sprite tribute because he's purple in that game for some reason.
It completely slipped my mind that Varan had a purple color scheme. The fact I completely forgot that was actually a thing in one of the games. I just did it because that's what the Frenzy Virus does.
Yeah. So it's like it was just a natural compliment between you just working with the virus and then me remembering that because I have obscure trivia like that in the back of my mind. I was like, let's go. Oh, that was fun. I actually wish I could have shown off more Behemoth, but I did like the extra frenzy particle effects were naturally part of that Gormagala. Oh, bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah, like the particle effects of the frenzy virus were naturally part of that Gormagala PNG, so it was just like, I wasn't gonna miff around with that too much. It also looks kind of cool.
You didn't want Nagoda stealing your thunder.
But for you, it's just like, yeah, no, I'm still like content with Behemoth. I knew I wanted to like have him be like not all purple because I think even the match kind of makes note of the partiality of it, but it was like this was just super fun to make.
To me, there's a difference. To me, there's a like for monsters that are like like I said, like you said, it sort of depends. Sometimes the purple coloration is a lot more noticeable. Sometimes it's not. It just kind of depends on the physiology. Since Behemoth is technically a brute wyvern, like a feigned brute, I think is what they're called, right?
Fanged beast.
Fanged beast. Thank you. Listen, the fucking classifications is kind of weird. Okay. Because Behemoth is technically like a feigned beast, the infection affects him differently. Because
Okay.
Because I think there's images of what Regine looks like, and I kind of base it all, or like at least Apex Regine. Hang on. Yeah, Apex Regine's infection's a little more subtle than normal. So I just kind of went with that.
Right. Yeah, so it's just kind of like some because I think there are some monsters that go like mostly or all purple. I do think. And again, there are others that are more either like subtle. It's basically a whole spectrum of just do as you want, whatever looks coolest.
Pretty much.
So it's like, not to toot my own horn, but I love Purple Varan. That is such a good look. So that's super freaking good. And yeah, no, like an actual, like, in regards to its ending too, it's like Apex Varan was such a good, like, again, once it shows the full extent of like what Frenzy Virus can do to other things. Some like Behemoth, like, either don't live long enough and die, or he got killed, but it's like some of them can't achieve the state of being where it's like, oh yeah, here we are. So yeah, no, it's good stuff. It is super good stuff, and I just enjoyed. Yeah, it's looking at the reference photos for all of the Flooded Forest. It was so much fun making the banner. Just because it was like, that's such a good look. I was like, I really wanted to try to capture that look, and I hope I did a good job with it.
I think you did.
So.
Yes, agreed.
But yeah, no, just really enjoyable match. Like, really enjoyed it through and through, and I think it's a wonderful debut for Gormagala with a somewhat surprising but also interesting outcome too. So it's like, hey,
I was literally a coin flip on whether or not Gore was gonna win or not.
Right. But,
like, if I had asked you and G, like, hey, do you think Gore should win or lose? And like, if y'all said win, I like the ending was completely determined on whether or not your answers.
Right. So.
I'm proud of the ending where it's like, or like the very, very end where it's like, where the hunters have been like, okay, we're gonna go hunt this thing down.
Right, because that's just what they do.
Yeah, pretty much. They went to the what did I say? They went to the quest meeting, they put in the paperwork, and it's all said and done.
Right. Those hunters are just built different, man. Oh, Lordy. But yeah, figured I could just go next. GVR, what'd you think of the match? Woo!
I didn't read it.
No, I read it. Of course I read it. You sent me it like before you actually like even sent it in to Alex or anything.
Well, that's good. You know, I mean, I said that because I asked you to proofread it.
Yeah. Yeah, I greatly enjoyed it. But it was a very good match. Seeing a match that probably like integrates Monster Hunter into it, really good. Score was used very well. As we're over on a Behemoth, I like how you use their like physicalities differently.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't.
Frenzy Virus was also. Oh god.
I'll go on.
Yeah, Frenzy Virus was used very well as well.
I wasn't sure how physically strong Behemoth was, so him literally throwing a giant, like a tree, like something really heavy, I'm like, sure.
Yeah, I think it's fair to assume that he's like decently strong. Maybe not like Kong levels, but like you look at him and you can assume he can lift something big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The arena was neat. Nice to see Monster Hunter locales as well.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of the actual way I handled like the triple threat? Because I know most people tend to do like 1v1 and someone just tags in and out every now and then. I really tried to get this. I really tried to capture the sense that all three of them are fighting each other at like the exact same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did a good job with that.
So
You very much felt like just a frantic free for all, not like, okay, tag in 1v1.
right, and that is a tricky thing to do. It's like with the dynamic of three. That's yeah, you gotta give them all their own equal space. And even all that, like even though I feel proud with my Kong Rathalos match, it was still kind of like, it's like I wanted to make sure everyone got their special highlight. But even I feel like I kind of resorted to sort of like a 1v1 brief, there were definitely like some mix-ups just due to the nature of the Skullcrawler and whatnot, but it is sort of like 1v1 intervention. Like there's still a mix-up in that one, but I argue this one definitely goes for a nice like everyone's giving trade-offs to each other in a readable, chaotic yet readable way. So
something also I'm relatively proud of is Behemoth and Varan know they're dying. Like this is something like granted I don't know. Granted, most animals aren't that intelligent. I think I want to play like they know something's wrong with them and like they're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of adds to the like why they're kind of acting a little more vicious and desperate because like oh shit I'm dying.
Mm-hmm.
And they know it.
Right. It's also a kaiju thing. Kaiju in general are at least like given like a much stronger sense of like not necessarily human intellect levels, but like somewhere above animals for the most part. So yeah, it's like
overall great match.
Yeah.
I did also want to read Bacon's thoughts on it since he sent me those.
Okay.
I mean, I'm here. Hi.
Oh well, I just figured since I'm already going, I'll just read this up real quick, and then you can go after me. Great shot.
Oh, I thought it was like okay, everyone's said their thoughts. I'm like, wait.
No, like just while I'm going, I'll read Bacon's thoughts.
Okay, it's over. Bye, everyone.
Yeah, you can go after this. Yeah, Bacon says, Gore is finally in. Let's go. The match itself, however, leaves much to be desired. It feels a bit rushed at the end. Discord, why? It leaves a bit to be desired. It leaves much to be desired. It feels a bit rushed at the end with the hunters, and I would have liked it a bit more of that scene. So it's from and elsewhere they like are gonna totally hunt Vron, bro. The fight itself is pretty sick, and the banner is cool. And he adds on, these are the only two that I read recently. The other being 380. The banners look great for the others, especially Gorsaurus vs. Gazora. That deadass looks like a promotional image. Been busy, but y'all will find out why soon.
Man, he's showing himself, and he ain't even fucking here.
Yep, that'll cover it for me. Great shot. What did you think of the match?
Yeah, I thought this was good. I in regards to like what this match felt like, maybe because Varen is the first to enter and he's the last to leave, and Gormagala is the cause. I thought those two, the fight between them was probably the strongest aspect. Behemoth was a third party, but I don't think he was as instrumental as if he had been like if there had been like an environmental change or something with him, like, or if you would have had like a third factor that would have fit both, other than his sheer size and bulk. Because he's the first one to get, he's the last one to enter, and he's the first one to get knocked out. So I felt his presence was a little bit less. Though this is a shorter match, so maybe that also is why his impact feels minimal. But I really like the Frenzy Virus. The Frenzy Virus was really good. At least its implementation here. Like I've never played Monster Hunter. But I understood like the concept behind it pretty much, like from the descriptions and everything. So I thought it was pretty good in that respect. So yeah, overall, really good match. The only thing I will say is, it took me a few seconds to like figure out what Gormagala looks like. Like, I'll be honest, when I first saw the banner, I thought he had like a tail that had like an arm attached to it or something. Like I was trying, it's kind of blended together.
No, I understand though. I thought the extra arms are wings though.
Yeah. I had to look on like Google and just type in Gormagala to like understand. Oh, this is a wyvern with like arms on its like where like the joints would be, right? So like on its wings. So but it was just like looking at this, the first experience of like what is that?
It's a cool pose, but yeah, I can see like mixing with all the other effects. It's just sort of like, what am I looking at?
Yeah, and especially in a dark screen, I was like, it just kind of blended to a dark shadow, almost like. I'm like, oh, don't worry, I'll just go to the combat stats. That should be a clear. Oh, it's just his head, and it's super dark, and you can't see it. Oh, okay.
Well, blame KaijuX for that. Then I didn't make the damn thing.
The other two are clear, and yeah, the Varen and Behemoth, I like both look really good. Might maybe just turn the brightness up slightly for Gormagala, but otherwise, yeah.
KaijuX saw the name Black Eclipse. Everyone was like, right, no one should see this thing.
I mean, now I see. Now that I know what it looks like, now I see it. But it was just like a case of, what am I? What? Okay.
What are those? Gore.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Is Nakoda still here?
Is he alive?
Speak to me, boy.
He's muted and he's not typing anything, so I assume he's like doing something else.
Probably. So we get to circle back around to him in a second. I guess like I know we kind of gave a lot of sort of the like basic history for the most part. But friggin', I guess also like Harley, did you have like any additional, I guess, sort of like thoughts or behind the scenes tidbits or what have you?
Maybe I should have done like I will admit the end it was a tiny bit rushed. I just was one bit burnt out with writing at the time, but like maybe I should have written like I don't know how well an extended scene of like an actual hunt between the hunters of Ram would have gone without like Gore making his reappearance for like a pseudo round 2, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That'd probably be best for like a sequel. You open it up in the hunt or something with Gormagala or Apex Varen, if that's a thing. Like, what did will he be like buffed with that?
He doesn't get any new powers. He's just like stronger.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's like a buff,
he's basically stronger, more durable, and he's more strong. He's durable, more stronger. At the cost of like he's in such immense pain. Like it's a buff, but like it's a buff in terms of gameplay mechanics. But like IRL, the only reason why he's that strong and durable is because he's just constantly angry and in pain all the time.
Yeah, it's the black armor for Berserk in that case. Yeah. It's like
kind of.
It's like, oh yeah, this is a buff, but you are going to be held together by this armor, and you'll be in immense pain.
Pretty much.
Yeah, Nagoda says Banner looks good, like Purple Hazy, Varan, and Behemoth, as well as Gore doing a big splash at them. The match is pretty fun, and I like Varan becoming an apex monster from the Frenzy virus.
Heck yeah. All right. All right. Let's see. I'm looking over at the Gorange Magala. Okay, for real, from Maguma. Okay, but for real, this match totally caught me by surprise. I'm definitely hyped to write matches with Gore and the Frenzy Virus and have some monsters go Apex mode. Hell yeah. Also glad Magala managed to stay more hidden than Rion.
I will say now, in case for some reason, because people who are familiar with Monster are probably curious why this wasn't a thing. We are not adding Shigaru Magala. It was unfortunately Shigaru Magala did not appear in the Toho movie, so we cannot have him on Gore's thing.
Unfortunately,
Yeah,
it really sucks.
Yeah,
because everyone and their dog knows about this, but unless Monster Hunter 2 has Shigaru Magala, we can't do anything about it.
Right, it's like it bites so much because it's like friggin' it's like sugar.
So we're going to be stuck with quote unquote the lesser form, even though Gore is a very insanely dangerous monster in its own right.
Yeah. Right. So it's like, yeah,
that's the thing I think some people might not understand. It's like Gore is already a rather dangerous monster.
Right, like he is a dangerous threat in his own right in the game he appears in. And then his evolutions only make him even more dangerous, basically.
Pretty much.
So it's like, it's not like we're dealing with a Motho larva necessarily. We're dealing something that's like a higher tier threat than that. It can only go up.
Exactly. And but the thing is, unlike Mothra larva and Mothra, the principle is the same. It's just that Shigaru just hasn't appeared in a Toho thing yet.
Yep.
That's pretty much the only thing keeping it back, because otherwise we would have it.
Oh, absolutely. Because
the way Anthony is with this is like non-Toho powers, like powers from a non-Toho source, are fine
for the most part.
But forms are a completely different thing.
Yeah, forms require a Toho like source appearance, so it's like you can't just like the EX Gamora was the one exception to the one match, and that is it.
I'm pretty sure that was a really long time ago, though.
Yes, that was match 56 long time ago. So that was like, oh my gosh, that was literally over a decade ago. Wow, that feels so weird to say. But
I can't wait for the rewrite of that match to somehow erase EX Gamora. What are they gonna do for that?
I think that one's probably gonna stay as is, like, because
really, you're gonna keep EX Gamora?
Kind of have.
We can't change it.
Yeah, I can't actively like change it. Not like and even then, the only ones I got permission from Tom for are just more like his later trilogy stuff, not his older matches. So
what you're saying is we can finally change Paragon eating Bagon's heart and dying?
No, that's probably gonna stay. That's probably gonna stay. Like I said, a lot of it is still kind of like, how like we'll still have to see that when we get there, but it's still more than likely a lot of it is still gonna stay. Just because it's like,
I mean, I'll fight for it to stay, just because like I think we should preserve history.
Preserve as much history as we can.
Also,
you say that
clearly, Baragon used Bite. It was not very effective.
You say that GVR, but as soon as the revamp matches go up, the older ones are pretty much just wiped from history. So I don't know how much preserving you're doing.
Well, that's why it's like we don't, for the HD remakes, we aren't like changing the plots of the match or anything. Like it's just removing, it's just like fixing spelling errors and grammar issues and like.
Right.
Like with Godzilla vs. Gamera round 1, I changed it from the golden beam to a red spiral ray.
Because I think we had deduced Tom's weird methodology when it came to beam colors.
Yeah, because we think he did just mean the red spiral ray, but he called it gold because fancy.
Because fancy and because gold is part of the red spiral design, even though the beam itself is like, like I think that was at least that was the conclusion I came to. So it was like, It's a cosmetic change, not an actual plot change. Hello, Toku Society. I see you there.
What?
Toku Society says hello in chat.
Oh, okay. I'm like, what the
Yeah, we're live streaming. Remember, Harley?
Oh, that's right. I kind of forgot.
I will say, at least for Tom, did you guys message him? He's usually pretty responsive on Facebook.
This was a while ago. Like, all this was a while ago. So, what should we call it? Strip Matter says, once again, this match is proof that everyone should read every match that gets posted. New Kaiju or old. I never knew who the hell Gore Magala was until this match. I'm sure there was a great introduction for that one.
I think Gore is probably one of our best kept secrets, because even if you watch the movie, Gore appears so little in it. I don't think anyone would have actually expected him to be added.
Yeah. For sure.
And to be very transparent with everyone, the fact that Gore had such little appearance in the movie, he was in there for like 5 seconds, was even heavily debated on whether or not that was worthy of him being included anyways.
Yeah.
He very narrowly got the chop before he even got a chance. Just because he appeared so little in the actual movie.
Right.
And if it wasn't the fact that GBR and I had intimately explained how the frenzy virus would operate, I don't think he would have got in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Like, that frenzy virus was such a good mechanic. I was like, yeah, override.
It's like we can't not have it.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, the Michael Jackson Helm says, like this match, also glad to see one of my top 3 Elder Dragons making KWC. He's kind of hoping we never get Monster Hunter 2 since the first one sucked.
I know it did.
That's a fair point.
You're right.
On one hand, let's put it this way: as a movie, I agree. This is a win-win. This is a win-win situation. Here's the way I'm looking at it. As a movie, I hope we don't get a sequel, because it was not a good. The first one's still not a good movie. I'm not as hard on it as some of the other guys, but I can understand not a good movie. On the other, if we get the movie, we, as the KWC, get more options. That's the way I'm looking at it.
The thing is, KaijuX, if you were a big Monster Hunter fan, you would know how much of a slap in the face it is to us.
Oh.
I mean, I didn't hate the movie, but yeah, I can see the issues.
Oh,
right. Out of all the fucking things they used the Diablos.
Oh, right.
Now, here's the thing. They should make a second movie and then just release it to us.
Make a brand new movie and then quote-unquote leak it to the Toho Kingdom.
Yes.
That would be hilarious. This was
the director says, hey, Shigaro was at the very last frame of the movie. You just missed it.
Oh my gosh. Toho distributes Monster Hunter 2 on Toho Kingdom.
There's an official crossover with Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak on the Switch.
Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. Oh.
I also did try to make sure that with Gore, like whenever certain parts are broken in the game, you can see like the gold underneath the black scaling.
Yeah, for sure.
I tried to keep that.
Yeah, because that's just part of the monster. That's just naturally part of its physiology. So that makes perfect sense.
Also, if once its feelers are broken, it's I also wanted to make sure everyone knew it's blind. It can't see. It has no eyes.
Yeah. Mofo wandering around blind.
So blind, can't see the bitches.
It's just gonna have to release all the hair. Anyway, but yeah, very good. Yeah.
What monsters would y'all even want in a hypothetical sequel?
I don't know.
Shigaro Magala.
Okay,
That's
obviously the first one is Shigaro Magala.
Right. I'm not
because there's so many monsters in this wide array of franchises. Now it's like, what would you actually want to see on a big screen like that?
That's a fantastic question. Because there are a lot of good options. Like, I think that one with the rocket's really cool.
Oh, Valstrax?
Yeah.
I would love to see if Valstrax is going to be the Gore of Monster Hunter 2. That's like 5-second cameo, but he's going to get in no matter what.
or something. It was just like
it'll justify us twisting GVR's arm.
until it snaps.
We just broke his arm off and started beating him with it.
Dick blasted. Oh, Lord. But yeah, 385. Do we have any additional thoughts? Oh, Devil Joe. Maguma says Devil Joe. Yeah, that would be another really good one.
Devil Joe, Devil Joe, Devil Joe.
I think we can move on to the KWCEs.
Yes, very much so. We actually have the 2 leaders of the KWCEs, 2 out of 3.
Oh.
So I think. Oh shoot! Wait, right? Hold on a minute.
Yeah. What do you mean? Right? How are you unsure about this?
No, not so much that images. I think I had made images. I just forgot to put them into the thingamajig. Hang on.
Okay, I was like, the way it was like, wait, they're both here, right? Like, dude, how do you not know this by now? No wonder we're fucking dying.
Okay, I have 89, not 90. Okay. Let me get that in there real quick.
Then get number 90.
Yeah, I have to make 90. I could stick 89 in here real quick though. We're officially transitioning.
Okay.
So this is the point where you guys wait.
Which one are we doing then?
Match 89, Gorosaurus and Gomora versus the D&E.
Okay. I guess KaijuX doesn't seem to be too sure about which one we're talking about first.
Hold on a second. Where the heck?
I'm going to start talking about it.
Yes, it's at least on the screen. It's at least on the screen. That it just disappeared on me when I was trying to move it. What the heck is going on here?
KWCE, match 89, Gorosaurus
We're live,
and Gomora
pal.
Okay.
versus the D&E from Dark Horse Comics, the Godzilla Dark Horse. This match was written by Ultimate Ditto. Takes place on Monsterland. I guess I'll go ahead and start off with my opinions on it, and that I think it's a pretty fun match.
Okay, don't ask me why there are 2 of them up in the corner. I don't know what happened.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just going to cover that up.
Just let it go, dude.
There. Perfect. All right, go ahead. Speak.
Yeah, the D&E are a pretty interesting, fun set of characters. Pretty much just Predator knockoffs, but Godzilla-sized.
Yeah.
And so it's fun to see them take on, like, Gorosaurus and Gomora.
Ah, yes, the Monster Prince and the Atomic Dinosaur.
And, well, yeah, no, this is a very fun match. I did a good bit of editing on it, because it's a bit of an older match from Ditto, but still pretty good. It's got good banter between the various D&E. You got plenty of good action with Gorosaurus and Gomora, 2 very good monsters when it comes to physical fighting. And it's just a real good variety here.
I liked that the other monsters on Monsterland were there too.
Yeah.
It's just like Gomora and Gorosaurus were the 2 that were the main bulk of the action.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, I agree with GVR. Just a solid little romp.
Mm-hmm. KaijuX, did you read this one?
I unfortunately did not read either of them. I wanted to get to them, which is a dang shame because I really did want to read both matches for in preparation for this. But I've been let me put it this way: I've also been pretty busy helping someone with a certain thing. So that's just kind of been mentally.
Did you get that thing I sent you, Harvey?
Yeah. Nagoda, have you read it? I know Grayshot didn't.
That is an accurate reflection.
I've never been so insulted. I 100% agree with.
KaijuX, what's the YouTube chat saying?
All right, yeah. Let me check that
I'm
out.
going to assume they didn't read it.
Let's see. Maguma says, darn, I actually need to reread this match. Kind of forgot what happened in it.
Oh my gosh.
What do you fucking know?
And then Joshua Stripmatter says, if Predators grew two things, the Kaiju size and Scottish accents. Gamora and Gorosaurus were no match for the Deanty's thick Scottish accents.
Okay, Andy. What are you talking about?
Okay, Ditto's typing in Discord. Hopefully he'll have something to say.
Before he's like, I forgot what I wrote.
KWCE Match 100 is coming up. You guys better read it.
We
Nah.
We got time. We got time to think about it.
we might. I will say right now, we might delay it a bit just so we can make sure it's of the Match 100 standard. But that's something Bacon and I are going to have to talk about more. Because it is coming up, you are right, but we may delay it a bit, if only to ensure its quality. What?
Ditto.
10th paragraph at the second and third words. Oh, I assume he's talking about Atomic Dinosaur. One, two, three, four.
You mean first and third words.
No. It's the second and third.
Oh yeah, I thought you said in between.
The first one is the.
And the second and third word. Okay. Second, I misread that.
What the fuck, my guy?
Look at the second and third words.
Okay, what did I miss? I got a phone here.
Ditto posted, say, GVR, whatever you do, don't look at the 10th paragraph and the second and third words.
He called Gorosaurus the Atomic Dinosaur. So I assume that means he has nothing insightful to add.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, Match 100 for the KWCE, again, it might be delayed a bit, only because we want to make sure it's something special and something like that's actually quality.
I was actually good.
Yes.
I was like, you had like mentioned something like the idea to me, and I was about to say that to you like earlier today. So I'm kind of glad like you brought that up, because I would love to have like Match 100 be all it can be in a way.
We have a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess there's not a lot to really go over with this match. It's just like a
Right.
quick and simple fight.
Right. Like,
It's quick and dirty, just like me.
Yeah, most of the matches we've gone over today have just been like very simple stuff, which makes sense. It's fine.
Thankfully, given the fact that we practically took a month off, I think it's a good thing that a lot of the matches have been fundamentally simple. Because had it been like more super complex story-driven matches, that would have been different. So I think this is somewhat of a blessing that we were able to catch up really quick on a lot of these. So.
Yeah, so I think we can move on to KWC E90.
So I just also want to say that, like, at least casually, like, skimming it real quick, there is some fun things in here.
Yeah.
I wish I'm sure I could probably go back and read it when I want to, if I ever was like, I feel like reading the Deanty today for some reason. It was like, yeah, I think there's some fun little remarks and fun little fun pieces of dialogue sitting in there. That yeah, no, that's really fun.
Character development.
It is. I would call them more character quirks. But yeah, no, that's about the most I could really say though. Unfortunately, I was about to start reading the 92, but then it was just like, again, caught up with other things.
That match is 10,000 words long. You can't skim it real quick to give commentary.
I'm not gonna be able to like give up like a proper comment. I could only just see like a couple of things real quick. So I was like, bummer.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm going to move on to KWC E90 unless there's anything else anyone wants to say about 89.
No.
Anyone else? Round 1, round 2?
Okay. KWC E90 is Godzilla 2001 versus Godzilla 2002 versus Grand King Ghidorah. Written by Shin Gojira 14, also known as Joshua Stripmatter. And I really enjoyed this match.
Oh yeah, this guy, he knows how to write. He's so good.
Yes. I will say you can tell...
He writes primarily for us, the KWCE, thank God. I'm pretty sure like 2/3 of our backlog is just this guy.
Yeah.
It's this guy and me.
Hey, I try.
Try.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, you can tell it's a bit of an older match, but like it's still very solid. I enjoy how all three combatants are written. Grand King Ghidorah is given the appropriate sense of menace.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I really like that you made sure that the two Godzillas are different.
Yes, they are very different. Yet similar in the same way. I like that as well. How it's like, to go into spoiler territory a bit, I like how Millennium Godzilla is the son of 2001.
Oh, I get it.
Yes. Going off that old chestnut theory of like, is Kiryu Saga Godzilla 54 Godzilla's child?
Yeah. And then 2001 Godzilla being a reincarnation of, like, going off the typical fan conception.
Yeah, what we assume it to be. Wikizilla apparently says no. That Godzilla is just a completely different guy.
Right.
For no fucking reason.
Right. Yeah, no, this is
it's something that I'm pretty sure all of us have collectively agreed to absolutely ignore.
Right, pretty much.
Well, I pretty much said, like, I'm still fine with depicting GMK Godzilla as 54 Godzilla just because they still say they're the same species in that supplementary thing.
Right.
So it's just like, it's fine.
Right.
God help us otherwise if a second Godzilla was somehow a different species then.
Right.
Toho's like, no, this Godzilla is actually from the alien planet in that one Godzilla comic we wrote.
You know what the thing is about that universe, though, if you think about it? In that same universe of GMK, you technically, if for the KWCE, right, you could have Skeetra versus GMK, and technically same universe.
This is true.
Or any of the other Godzilla the series monsters, which would be weird and wacky.
I mean, I also brought up the possibility that because there was apparently an actual second Godzilla, that the Americans were correct, and that Godzilla did attack the U.S., but KaijuX said that wasn't likely then.
No, very, very unlikely, just because it was like
Even though now, that actually makes more sense.
Right. That was always a jab at Zilla from the get-go.
Harley is now going to write Godzilla Jr. beating GMK out of spite and say, well, this is clearly now Godzilla.
Are you kidding me? My boy? My baby boy?
Hey. The wide-eyed, demonic baby boy?
Well, sometimes you have to kill the things we love.
Jesus Christ. Is that why you have two girlfriends, Grey Shot?
Wait, what? No, I have one.
I don't know. You seem pretty hesitant about that. I don't know. You seem pretty taken aback live on air.
Actually,
that's why we took Frankenstein out back.
Oh my gosh.
GB's deep suffering sigh just really made it for me.
Is it? It's actually that common is less so on people you like, and more so it's actually attributed, or at least when I think of it, someone referenced it to the military, because there's like a lot of generals love their military, and it's like, well, now you got to go order it to die. Good luck.
Right. Oh.
Yeah, can you imagine someone that likes a like a general that actually liked the soldiers in a Godzilla movie? Okay, yeah, we're gonna send a few thousand of you to have tanks against Godzilla.
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck.
Have fun, gang.
Kaiju, anything in the YouTube chat on Match 90?
Yeah, YouTube side. First off, from Maguma, atomic dinosaur in all caps. But Strip Matter. So Strip Matter says like, hope y'all like it. He's like my heart and just a whole bunch of heart emojis because I think he really just like, you know, he just really appreciated all the like praises and compliments. So it's like, hell yeah. And then yeah, he also just verified that's like this match was written with the thought of GMK as 54 Goji, which yeah, don't totally like.
It's it's okay.
Yeah,
unless Toho themselves emails us and says not to do that, we're always just going. I'm pretty sure no one's going to actually write GMK as anything but the original.
Yeah, I think a lot of us in the West like do interpret GMK as.
I'm pretty sure most people in the East do that too, dude.
Probably.
I don't think this is information that's suddenly apparent if you watch the sub version, my guy.
Right.
That was what are you talking about? That was my favorite part of the Japanese version when they say this is not actually the Godzilla we saw before. This is a new guy.
Well, they explicitly spelled it out in the very opening where
oh my gosh,
the new Godzilla just starts pitching on 54's corpse.
Okay. Maguma says match 90 was good. I like the idea of 54 Goji being Kiryu Goji's dad, so this brought up some feels when the latter died. And then he was like, wait, hey, I'm trying to write KWCE stuff too once I actually stop procrastinating. I think he just summed up all of us. He just says, yo, Grayshot has a harem confirmed. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, by God.
I think that'll do it for KWC E90.
Yeah,
it's kind of hard to believe. It's kind of hard to believe the KWCE is already near to 100.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
Crazy.
Especially with how KaijuX nearly bombed the whole thing before I could get it off the ground.
Yeah.
He's just like, what if I made a roster limit for this?
Right. I did at first, and then not.
And then you flip flopped hard on that, dude.
Yeah. Oh, it's like, oh yeah.
What if I added the Indoraptor and Starfish Hitler with zero research?
Right. Oh my gosh.
I'm just glad we didn't have a match with any of those before we decided to get rid of them.
Agreed. Thank goodness. Oh. Lord.
GBR is like, thank God I didn't have to keep Starfish Hitler.
Oh, the Michael Jackson Helm says, really good match. Nice subversion of Kiryu Goji dying instead of GMK Goji, along with Grand being truly menacing.
Oh, yeah.
So, gosh darn it, I should have given this one a read. Damn it.
Yeah, you should read the KDBCE, KaijuX.
Yes, I should. Gosh darn it.
Leans over and glares.
I feel a knife point at the back of my head. Is that a good thing?
No.
Oh, lordy. But yeah, holy crap. We actually made it. Woo! Woohoo!
Yeah, I think we're pretty much done with this episode.
Yeah.
You're just celebrating that we actually made it. Oh my God, what's been happening these last few episodes then?
Well, we took a month off, so, you know. So the fact that we were able to cover like the stuff, like the broad, like roster stuff, or the survey stuff, shit, too, was like, yay, we did it.
Time for the special 4-hour podcast.
Joshua Sturbetter says, maybe you can read this before bed. I've heard reading before bed helps with mental health. No kidding.
I should just read more.
For sure. Even just reading in general. I'm sure, like, definitely, like, I guess just because it takes your imagination to, like, you know, dreamland kind of state, or just like
read one book per day.
pretty much
Just read novels every day.
in one sitting.
Yeah, I mean that's what I do.
Oh, that's what happened to it. It's somehow. Oh, okay.
Like if I want to read a book and I'm like really invested in it, I'll probably take like 5 or 6 hours and just like take the rest of my evening and read it.
Yeah.
That's for those that have 5 to 6 hours of like, yeah, I can just spend time on this.
It's called having free time.
Yeah, that's a luxury some of us don't have.
What are you, Japanese?
That sounds like a skill issue to me.
Skill issue.
Simply create more time.
Well, yeah, be like a JoJo character, just warp existence around yourself.
Yeah. Turn 24 hours into 25 hours. How hard could it be? Oh.
How many fingers am I holding up for? Ron.
Oh, lordy. But yeah, do we, like, I don't think we have, like, anything, like, obviously the results, had we done this last month, I would have been teasing, like, not hardcore, but it's like, out of the monsters of this list, one of them will appear, but lo and behold, we have,
We don't have anything to tease.
we no longer have anything to tease. Well,
Hey, you guys, just a teaser. There might be a monster on the survey already on the roster. Hey. I wonder who it could be.
Do you have any idea how much that narrows it down? Oh, Lord.
He might have had a debut recently in 485. You never know who it could be. It's Behemoth. Everyone knows that.
Oh, lordy. Oh, yeah, very good. Oh, crap. But yeah, I think that covers our basis, and I don't think there's really much else to really say, other than the fact that things are still kind of going. And no, is there anything coming up, or is it just all kind of
That's that we can talk about? No.
yeah, in terms of KWC stuff, nothing crazy, nothing too crazy, other than the thing I'm helping Bacon with, which yeah, that'll be up when it's ready.
I mean, unless we want to reveal some of our plans for 2024, because I don't mind. I don't think that should actually be a secret.
For 2024?
We live in the red dust now. We see the future. But yeah, forget. But yeah.
Yeah, probably like when we get closer to it, we can reveal that.
Yeah, when we get closer to it, because I think even 2 years is a little on the far off side. So
That's a little much.
Yeah, like certain people are like, oh yeah, like Anna wasn't like, yeah, I'm gonna write a Shin Kamen Rider in like 3 years. Bye.
Oh lordy. But yeah. With that said, oh, Maguma has something to say. We're gonna have to see what he says. He wants say one last thing about the frenzy virus. What is it, man? We're listening. We're here. We're here to hear you.
It's a virus.
Yes.
Taps nose.
Harley, you just got the virus in you by tapping your nose.
Oh shit! Is that why I need to call my doctor today?
Yes.
I keep in mind. I put that off just so I keep in mind. I put that off so I can fucking join you. If I die, this is your fault.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh my gosh! All right, Maguma. What do you have to say about the frenzy virus? Okay. Monsters can apparently recover from it, though, through some unknown means, according to the Monster Hunter Wiki. Could we include that in the match, even though it's kind of weird?
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, I don't see why not.
Right.
I mean, great. You will have to come up with a explanation for it, though.
I mean, but to be honest, a virus, I mean, if you have something that's like Godzilla that gets infused with the virus, you could just, if you wanted like a way to kill it, you could just imbue him with a metric ton of radiation.
I think for something like Godzilla, we can safely say, like, because Elder Dragons are flat out immune to the virus. Like, they just aren't affected at all.
Yeah.
So you could just say Godzilla is completely immune to it.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say anything that has a metric ton of radiation. Like maybe it's affected for like shortly, but like the amount of radiation that virus is just gonna get overwhelmed. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Or if there's other certain properties that, or if there's other like certain properties that the monster has that overrides it or something. I don't know.
Right. Like, yeah, obviously some are just biologically more like immune to it compared to others. So it is sort of like that varying class of like immunity versus not immunity kind of thing. So
it's up to their discretion.
Pretty much. So, but yeah, I hope that answers your question, Maguma, for the most part. So. So just know that there's definitely a lot more, I would say there's a lot of like flexibility when it comes to that, but it does kind of like it has its, like there's things you can do, things you can't, so.
Thank God that the Curio aren't, that there's not that Malzeno or Gosmagorm isn't in, because Elder Dragons are affected by the Curio, unfortunately. Thanks to the upcoming DLC. Yeah, like one of the new monsters for Sunbreak is Risen Chameleos, who has basically took the Curio on and has like new moves and shit.
Oh, okay. Alright. But yeah, I think with that said, we could probably safely conclude this this session. So yippee, woohoo, let's go. We're like 13 minutes away from 3 hours, but I don't care. So, oh, thank goodness. But yeah, no, with that said, this has been this month's KWCC, and well, I guess I also want to say in regards to the KWCC in general, I feel like we're probably gonna, like, it's gonna depend on how busy I am, so I think I am probably gonna be more flexible with, like, much more flexible with how the scheduling goes. So it's like, you know, we could be off next month and have one before, before December or something. So it's like, I think we're going to be much more open-ended when it comes to our, much more flexible with the schedule as opposed to like once a month. Just because it's like, you know, for one, I've just been kind of tired a lot recently. And just, whatchamacallit. It's just mostly the fact that I've just been kind of tired a lot recently. I blame that on work, personally. But it's like, yeah, no, things have just been kind of like busy and hectic and whatnot. The fact that we were able to make time for this today, especially considering that like this coming weekend, my sister's going to be like in town for the first time in 3 years. So, you know, definitely wanted to get this off my chest before well before she got here. So it's like, oh, thank goodness. So, you know, just have fun with that when it gets there, and just, yeah. So, thank goodness. Anyway, yeah, this has been this month's KWCC. We'll see you guys next time, whenever that'll be. Bye!
Oh, GVR's is gone.